Introduction: The Invisible Architect. Look at the world around you. At first glance, everything seems like chaos, doesn't it? We see good people suffering and dishonest people prospering. We see events that seem to occur by pure chance, fortuitous accidents, strokes of luck, and inexplicable tragedies. We have been taught that life is a lottery. We have been told it is a game of chance where we are small boats adrift in a stormy and capricious ocean. But they have lied to you. What you are about to hear is going to dismantle that illusion forever. There is no such thing as chance. There is no such thing as luck. There is no such thing as coincidence. What we perceive as chaos is simply an order that our untrained minds have not yet learned to decipher. Behind the veil of physical reality, behind what your eyes can see and your hands can touch, there exists a perfect machinery. There is a silent operating system, precise and relentless. This system governs every atom, every thought and every circumstance of your existence. Imagine for a moment that you are trying to play a game of chess without knowing the rules. You move the pieces at random. You get frustrated when your king is taken. You get angry at the board and you blame your opponent. That is the situation of most of humanity. The vast majority of people walk through life asleep, bumping into invisible walls, swimming against the current, exhausting themselves in a perpetual struggle to survive, simply because they ignore the rules of the game. They ignore the source code of reality. This audiobook is not a collection of well-wishes or abstract philosophy. This is the rulebook. What you hold in your ears is the synthesis of thousands of years of Hermetic wisdom, quantum physics, and applied metaphysics. These are the 10 universal laws. These laws are not suggestions. They are not man-made moral norms that you can choose to obey or not. They function with the same cold, mathematical precision as the law of gravity. Gravity does not care if you are a good person or if you believe in it. If you jump from a 10th floor, you will fall. The universal laws work the same way. They are operating right now as you listen to this. They have been operating in every success you've had and in every failure you've suffered. The only difference is that, until today, perhaps you have been an unconscious victim of them. The purpose of this work is to transform you from a victim into an architect. When you understand the mechanics of vibration, you stop being afraid. When you master polarity, you stop suffering through crises. When you apply cause and effect, you stop waiting for luck. When you master these, you begin to design your destiny with surgical precision. I warn you, once you hear and understand these laws, you will not be able to go back to sleep. You will no longer be able to blame the economy, your partner, the government, or God for what happens in your life. By receiving this knowledge, you also receive total responsibility for your existence. No more being a piece on someone else's board. It is time for you to take command and become the player. Open your mind. Forget what you think you know about how the world works. We are going to lift the hood of the universe to see the engine. Let us begin with the first and most fundamental of all the laws. Chapter 1, The Law of Divine Oneness, the Origin. Look at your hand. Look at it right now. You see skin, you see lines, you see a shape that ends where the air begins. Your physical senses, which are biological tools designed for basic survival, tell you a fundamental lie. They tell you, here I end, and there the rest of the universe begins. They tell you that you are a separate entity, isolated, encapsulated in a sack of skin, navigating through an empty space full of objects foreign to you. This is the great illusion. It is the root of all suffering, of all fear, of all war, and of all the loneliness you have ever felt. The first universal law, the law of divine oneness, comes to break that distorted mirror. This law is non-negotiable. It is the foundation upon which all other laws sit. If you do not understand this one, you will understand none. If you try to apply the law of attraction without understanding oneness, you will be playing with toys. If you apply it understanding oneness, you will be a god creating worlds. The law establishes a simple, terrifying, and magnificent truth. Everything is one. There are no two. There is no you and me. There is no inside and outside. There is no God and man. It is all one. There only exists a single energy, a single consciousness, a single infinite mind that is experiencing itself in trillions of different forms simultaneously. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean compressed into a drop. And what you are about to discover will change everything. It will change the way you breathe, the way you love, and the way you exist. The physics of non-separation. For your logical mind to accept this, we must set aside mysticism for a moment and look at hard science. For centuries, Newtonian physics taught us the universe was made of things. Newtonian physics spoke of billiard balls, atoms, crashing against each other in an empty space. That created a materialistic and separatist vision of the world. But quantum physics destroyed that model 100 years ago. When scientists looked inside the atom, expecting to find solid matter, what did they find? Nothing. The atom is 99.99999% empty space, and that 0.01% that we call a particle, electrons, quarks, are not solid objects. They are vibrations, they are vortices of energy, they are probabilities. You are not made of matter, you are made of music, you are made of vibrating information. So if everything is empty space and energy, what is it that connects us? There exists something called the unified field, or the zero-point field. Empty space does not exist. The space between you and me, the space between the stars, is full of an invisible energetic fluid. It is a quantum ether that connects everything with everything. It is like a cosmic internet network. Imagine that you are one computer and I am another. We seem separate, we have different cases, but we are both connected to the Wi-Fi. The information that flows through you is the same that flows through me. The electricity that powers you is the same that powers me. At a fundamental level, there are no edges. Your atoms are constantly exchanging electrons with the air that surrounds you. Every time you breathe, you inhale atoms that were once part of Julius Caesar, a dinosaur, or a distant star. You are not an island. You are a flow, you are a process, not a thing. The phenomenon of quantum entanglement proves it. If you take two particles that have been joined and separate them by millions of kilometers, by modifying one, the other reacts instantaneously. There is no delay. No signal travels at the speed of light. The connection is immediate. Why? Because at the deep level of reality, they were never separated. You are quantumly entangled with everything that exists, because at the moment of the Big Bang, all matter and energy was concentrated in a single point. All the matter and energy of the universe was concentrated in a point the size of a pea. You were there. I was there. We have never stopped being in contact. Distance is only an illusion of the third dimension. The cosmic hologram, the law of divine oneness, also teaches us a truth. It teaches us that we live in a holographic universe. Do you know what a hologram is? If you take a normal photograph and cut it in half, you lose half the image. But if you take a holographic plate and cut it in half, each half still contains the complete image of the object. If you cut it into 100 little pieces, each piece, when illuminated, will project the complete image. The whole is in each of the parts. This means that you are not just an insignificant part of the universe. You contain the total pattern of the universe within you. Your DNA contains the history of biological evolution. Your subconscious contains the history of the cosmos. As the ancient alchemists said in the Emerald Tablet, as above, so below. The microcosm reflects the macrocosmos. That is why you can find God by looking inward. You do not need to travel to the ends of the galaxy to find the truth. The truth is encoded in your cells. You have access to all the wisdom, all the energy, and all the creativity of the source, because the source is not up there. The source is the very fabric of your being. The end of the other, the ethics of oneness. This is where the law becomes practical and sometimes uncomfortable. If everything is one, then the other does not exist. The person you love is you. The person you hate is you. The beggar on the street is you. The political tyrant is you. They are all reflections, mirrors, versions of the same unique consciousness, disguised in different costumes, living different scripts so that the whole can know itself from all possible perspectives. Imagine you are a puppeteer who has 1,000 puppets. With one hand you handle the hero. With the other you handle the villain. You make them fight. You make them love each other. The audience believes they are mortal enemies. But below the stage, both hands belong to the same body. You are the puppeteer, and you are also the puppets. This radically changes your ethics and your behavior. Under the law of divine oneness, the golden rule, treat others as you want them to treat you, ceases to be a nice moral advice and becomes a law of mechanical survival. Why? Because you cannot harm another without harming yourself. It is impossible. It is as if your right hand took a hammer and hit your left hand because it doesn't like it. It would be madness. The pain would be felt by the same brain. Humanity lives in that madness. We kill each other, we rob each other, and we judge each other. We do this thinking we gain something, without realizing that we are amputating our own limbs. Every thought of judgment you throw against someone is a boomerang. It leaves you, hits the energetic field of the other, who is part of you, and returns to you charged with the same frequency. If you hate, you poison yourself. Hatred is a poison that you drink waiting for the other to die. But the beauty of this law is infinite. Every act of kindness you do for a stranger, you are doing to yourself. Every time you forgive, you free yourself. Every time you help someone up, you rise. Understanding oneness is the end of selfishness, because you realize that true intelligent selfishness is taking care of the whole. Telepathy and the collective mind. Have you ever thought of someone and that person calls you instantly? Have you ever felt that something bad was happening to a loved one before receiving the news? That is not a coincidence. It is the law of oneness in action. Since we are all connected to the same central server, the divine mind, thoughts are not private. Your thoughts are waves that propagate through the network. They do not travel through the air. They travel through the internal connection. That is why, at a deep level, everyone knows everything. You cannot lie. You can deceive someone's intellect, but their soul knows the truth. Their soul and yours are drinking from the same water. This explains the power of prayer and intention at a distance. When you pray for someone or visualize their healing, you are not sending energy over there. You are healing that part of you that you perceive as the other. You heal them within your own consciousness, and since there is only one mind, the change in your mind is reflected in their physical reality. Dr. Ihaliakala Hugh Len, the famous Hawaiian therapist of Ho'oponopono, cured an entire ward of psychiatric criminals without seeing them in person. He never had a session with them. What did he do? He sat in his office, looked at the inmates' files, and looked inside himself. He asked himself, "What is in me that has created this person? What part of my darkness is reflecting in this criminal?" And he healed that part in him. He said, "I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you." As he healed himself, the patients were cured. Because he understood the law, there is no them, there is only I. If you clean your consciousness, you clean the world. Loneliness and belonging are transformed here. The greatest illness of our time is loneliness. Depression, anxiety, existential void. Everything is born from the illusion of being disconnected. No one cares about me. I am alone against the world. The law of oneness is the ultimate cure for loneliness. You have never been alone. You cannot be. Even if you were floating in the void of outer space, you would be sustained by the same presence that sustains the galaxies. The earth sustains you. The air enters you. The sun feeds you. You are the favorite child of the universe because you are the universe itself. When you integrate this law, you feel a deep peace. You feel belonging. You stop walking through life with fear, like an intruder who has to ask permission to exist. You begin to walk like the owner of the house. You look at the trees and feel, that is me. You look at the stars and feel, that is my body. You look into the eyes of a stranger and see an old friend. The fear of death disappears. How can you die? The form changes, yes. The body dissolves. But you, the life, the consciousness, cannot be destroyed. The wave returns to the ocean, but it never stops being water. The challenge of the shadow. But beware. Oneness is not just love and light. If everything is one, then you are also the darkness. You are the saint, but you are also the murderer. You are the victim and the executioner. Accepting oneness means accepting totality. Many spiritual people want to be one with flowers and angels, but refuse to be one with corrupt politicians, criminals, and the filth of the world. That is duality. That is spiritual ego. To truly apply this law, you must recognize. You must recognize that everything you see outside that you dislike is a projection of a shadow you carry inside. The world is your mirror. If you see war in the news and fill yourself with hatred toward those who make war, you are adding more war to the unified field. If you see war and recognize the seed of violence in your own heart and forgive it and transmute it into peace, then you are stopping the real war. He who is without sin, let him cast the first stone. No one is free, because we all share the same collective human psyche. Your job is not to fix the world by judging it. Your job is to recognize that the world is you, and love it until it heals. How to live the law, daily practice. How do we bring this giant philosophy down to your Monday morning? Here is the application protocol. 1. The real Namaste greeting. Namaste means, the God in me salutes the God in you. Practice it mentally. When you cross paths with someone, your boss, the bus driver, say internally, I recognize you. You are me. I am you. Do it especially with people who irritate you. You will see how their attitude toward you magically changes. By recognizing their divinity, you vibrationally force them to act from it. 2. The dissolution of boundaries. In meditation, or just sitting in the park, close your eyes. Feel where your skin ends and the air begins. Try to erase that line mentally. Feel that your atoms mix with the atoms of the chair, the floor, the sky. Expand. Feel that you occupy the entire room, the entire city. Break the shell of the ego. 3. Radical responsibility. Stop blaming. Eliminate the word blame. If something appears in your reality, you have summoned it because you are part of the whole. Ask yourself, what am I vibrating to experience this? Not from guilt, but from power. If you created it, you can uncreate it. 4. Mental ecology. If you throw trash in your house, it stinks. Since the world is your house, your extended body, do not throw mental trash, do not criticize, do not envy. Do not wish ill. Understand that sending bad vibes to someone is like urinating in your own pool. You're going to bathe in that. Keep your water clean. The paradox of power. Understanding the law of divine oneness gives you immense power, but takes away your personal importance. You are God, yes, but your neighbor is too. You are not special in the sense of better than. You are special in the sense of unique and unrepeatable. You are a facet of the diamond that no one else can reflect. Your mission is not to be another. Your mission is to be you to the maximum, because by doing so, you enrich the whole. If a cell of the body decides to be humble and stop working, the whole body gets sick. The universe needs you to shine. It needs you to be rich, healthy, and happy, because your happiness raises the vibratory average of the galaxy. Your suffering serves no one. Your smallness does not serve the world. Align yourself with unity. Understand that abundance is infinite. You can have it all because in essence you already are everything. You are the architect and the building. You are the player and the game. Welcome to the awareness of the One. Chapter 2. The Law of Vibration. Hit the table in front of you, or touch the chair you're sitting on. Touch it hard. What do you feel? You feel resistance. You feel hardness. You feel something solid, static, motionless. Your senses tell you that this table is a dead object, a block of matter frozen in time and space. Your senses are lying to you. If you could look at that table through an electron microscope of infinite power, what you would see would take your breath away. You wouldn't see wood or plastic or metal. You would see a swarm of subatomic particles spinning at dizzying speeds. You would see electrons orbiting nuclei like crazed planets. You would see an immense space between them, and above all, you wouldn't see anything still. That table that seems so solid is, in reality, a storm of energy. It is a dance, it is a frequency, it is vibrating, and so are you. Welcome to the second universal law, the law of vibration. The ancient Kybalion summarizes it in a phrase that modern science took thousands of years to confirm. Nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. This is the secret that separates the magicians from the muggles. The average person believes in matter. The initiate knows that matter does not exist. Only energy condensed at a slow vibration exists. Understanding this is the key to stop being a victim of circumstances. If everything is vibration, then everything is modifiable. You cannot mold a cement block. You cannot mold a cement block with your hands, but you can mold a sound wave with your voice. Your reality is not cement, it is sound, and you are the composer. The spectrum of reality, from ice to steam. To understand how spirit becomes matter, let's use the analogy of water. Imagine a block of ice. It is hard, cold, heavy, and rigid. If I hit you with it, I hurt you. That is matter, low vibration. Now apply heat, energy, to the ice. The molecules start to vibrate faster. The ice loses its rigidity and turns into water. Now it flows. It is adaptable. Apply more heat. The vibration increases drastically. The water boils and turns into steam. Now it is invisible, expansive, light. Keep heating the steam to extreme temperatures and it will turn into plasma. It is the same substance, H2O, in all phases. The only thing that has changed is the rate of vibration. The universe works the same way. Your thoughts are steam, high vibration. Your emotions are water, medium vibration. Your body and your physical results are ice, low condensed vibration. Poverty is a vibration. Wealth is a vibration. Illness is a vibration. Health is a vibration. They are not things that happen to you. They are frequencies you are tuned into. People make the mistake of trying to change the ice by hitting it with another ice, physically fighting against their problems. The master does not hit the ice. The master raises the temperature, change the internal vibration, and the external ice inevitably melts. It is pure physics. The universe is a radio. Imagine you are in your car and want to listen to classical music, which we will call the abundance frequency. But your radio is tuned to 88.5 FM, which is a heavy metal station, which we will call the scarcity frequency. You can scream at the radio. You can pray for them to play Mozart. You can be a good person. You can cry. But as long as the dial remains at 88.5, you will hear heavy metal. The radio doesn't hate you. The radio is not punishing you. The radio simply reproduces the signal that you have tuned in. Your mind is the dial. The universe has infinite stations broadcasting simultaneously. Right now, in this precise instant, and in the place where you are sitting, there are wealth waves. Right now, the radio waves of millionaire wealth exist. Also, the radio waves of terminal illness exist. The waves of deep love and those of suicidal loneliness exist. They are all here, now, superimposed in the quantum field. Which one manifests in your life? Only the one you resonate with. You cannot perceive what you do not vibrate. If you are vibrating in fear, low frequency, the opportunity station, high frequency, is invisible to you. It passes through you without touching you. It's as if a dog whistle were sounding next to you. The sound is real, but you don't have the ear. You don't have the vibration to catch it. That's why two people can live in the same city, with the same economy and the same government, and one sees a crisis and the other sees opportunities. They don't live in the same world. They live in different frequencies. Emotions as a GPS system. How do you know at what frequency you are vibrating? You can't see your atoms, you don't carry an oscilloscope in your pocket, but you have a perfect biofeedback system built into your body, your emotions. An emotion is not something poetic. It is a physiological response. It is a response to a vibratory frequency. The word emotion comes from the Latin emovere, energy in motion. Dr. David Hawkins created the map of consciousness, a logarithmic scale of human vibrations. In the lower part of the scale, slow, dense, contracted vibration, are shame, guilt, apathy, grief, fear. When you are here, you feel heavy, literally. It's hard to get out of bed, the world looks grey, your immune system shuts down. You are in survival mode. In the middle are anger, pride. They have a lot of energy, but it's still negative, destructive. The turning point is courage, 200 Hz. Here you begin to empower yourself. In the high part, fast, light, expansive vibration are acceptance, reason, love, joy, peace, enlightenment. When you are here, you feel light. You feel like you're floating. Ideas flow. Synchronicity happens. You become magnetic. Here is the key to the law of vibration. Like states attract. If you wake up and choose, consciously or unconsciously, to vibrate in complaint or irritation, you are sending a signal to the universe that says, "Send me more things that vibrate the same as irritation." And the universe obeys. You spill your coffee, you miss the bus, you fight with your boss, you say, "What a day of bad luck." No. You compose the symphony of disaster with your first note of the morning. Your emotion is your fuel gauge. If you feel bad, you are attracting bad things. If you feel good, you are attracting good things. It is that binary, the phenomenon of resonance and entrainment. In physics, if you have two tuning forks, those metal forks musicians use, tuned to the same note, for example, A, and you hit one to make it vibrate, the other will start to vibrate. It will start to vibrate automatically even if you don't touch it. It's called sympathetic resonance. The vibration travels through the air and activates the object that has the same internal structure. This explains why, when you enter a room where two people just argued, you feel tension in the air. You feel the tension even if they are silent. You feel the remaining vibration of anger, and if you're not careful, your own internal tuning fork of anger will start to vibrate by sympathy. Suddenly you get in a bad mood and don't know why. This also explains charismatic leadership. A person with a very high and stable vibration, a leader, a teacher, a healer, enters a room. Their vibration is so strong that it dominates the field. Through a phenomenon called entrainment, weaker vibrations, confused or sad people, tend to synchronize with the stronger vibration. The leader doesn't have to say anything. Their presence tunes the others. It elevates the room, but beware, it works the other way around. If your vibration is weak and unstable, and you hang out with pessimistic, cynical, and low-vibration people, energy vampires, they will drag you down. The law of vibration dictates that you cannot stay healthy in a sick environment unless your vibratory immune system is made of steel. Take care of your environment. Protect your vibration as if it were your bank account, because in reality, it is much more valuable. Your vibration creates your bank account. The lie of statics. One of the most dangerous implications of ignoring this law is believing you can stay the same. I'm not improving, but I'm not getting worse either. I'm stuck. Impossible. Remember the law. Nothing rests. Stagnation is an illusion. If you are not going up, you are going down. If you are not growing, you are dying. If you are not investing energy in your relationship, it is degrading. Nature is dynamic. A garden that is not cared for doesn't stay the same. It fills with weeds. A house that isn't cleaned fills with dust. Entropy always pulls downward. To maintain a high vibration, continuous and conscious effort is required. You have to row. If you let go of the oars, the current of the world, which tends toward negativity and fear, will drag you down. Vibrating high is not a permanent state. It's not a state you reach and that's it. It's a daily discipline. It is a hygiene like showering. You shower today, but tomorrow you will smell bad again if you don't shower again. Vibration is cultivated every morning. How to hack your frequency. Practical alchemy. If you are stuck in a low vibration, sadness, fear, poverty, how do you get out? You can't just think positive because thought is weak if the emotion, the body, is vibrating low. You have to intervene in the system. Here are the tools to change the dial. 1. Physiology, movement. The fastest way to change the mind is to move the body. Depression is a vibration of immobility. Anxiety is a vibration of chaotic trembling. Break the pattern. Go run, jump, dance, lift weights, breathe fire. By moving matter, your body, you force electrons to change state. It is impossible to stay depressed if you are sprinting at top speed or dancing to your favorite song. Biochemistry changes, and with it, the vibration. 2. The word, sound. Sound is audible vibration. The words you use have a frequency load. Words like hate, failure, impossible, illness have a low density. They weaken your muscles. Kinesiology. Words like love, thanks, power, God, I can, have a high frequency. They strengthen your field. Stop talking about your problems. Every time you verbalize your problem, you give it new life. You vibrate it again. You recreate it. Speak only about what you want to see grow. Use the abracadabra. I create as I speak. 3. Gratitude, the elevator. Gratitude is not a moral duty. It is a mechanical tool. Gratitude and fear cannot coexist in the brain at the same time. They are incompatible frequencies. Gratitude is the frequency of reception. When you give thanks, you are vibrating in, I have enough, I am complete, and the universe responds by giving you more reasons to be grateful. If you want to get out of the pit in 5 minutes, write 20 things you are grateful for right now. Feel how the pressure in your chest changes. That is your vibration rising. 4. Vibrational diet. You don't just eat food. You eat information. You eat sounds. You eat environments. What music do you listen to? Lyrics of betrayal and violence? That enters your subconscious. What news do you watch? Fear and death. That lowers your frequency. What do you eat? Dead, processed foods, full of animal suffering. Or live foods, full of sun. Everything that enters your system affects your musical note. If you want to vibrate like an angel, do not eat or consume garbage. Cardiac coherence. The secret of magnetism. Science has discovered that the heart emits an electromagnetic field 5,000 times more powerful than the brain. You can think I am rich, brain, but if you feel I'm afraid of not paying, be heart. The heart signal wins by a landslide. The heart is the great emitter. Coherence occurs when what you think and what you feel are aligned in the same frequency. When mind and heart vibrate in unison, a laser beam of manifestation is created. If there is dissonance, I think one thing, I feel another, the signal is static noise. The universe doesn't understand what you want. To apply the law of vibration, you have to feel the truth of what you desire. You must feel it in your gut. It's not fake it till you make it. It's tune in till you receive it. You have to feel the joy of health before healing. You have to feel the security of money before seeing the bills, because vibration precedes manifestation. The sound, thunder, comes after the lightning, but the energy was generated before. Be the lightning. Vibrational immunity. When you master this law, you reach a state of immunity. Imagine an airplane propeller spinning at top speed. If you throw a stone at it, the stone bounces violently. The propeller looks like a solid disc. If the propeller spins slowly, the stone can enter and break the mechanism. When your vibration is high and fast, low vibration problems, criticism, envy, small accidents, bounce off your auric field. They cannot penetrate. People say, how lucky you are, nothing affects you. It's not luck, it's spin speed. You have accelerated your energy so much that density cannot touch you. But if you lower the speed, you let yourself be carried by fear or laziness, you become vulnerable again. The stone enters. Keep the propeller spinning. Keep the joy high. Keep the focus sharp. The mystery of mental transmutation. The Hermetist said, the mind, like metals and elements, can be transmuted from grade to grade, condition to condition, pole to pole, vibration to vibration. This means you have the power of real alchemy. You don't need lead and fire, you need attention and intention. If you are in a situation of hate, you can't just eliminate the hate, but you can accelerate its vibration. Hate is love vibrating poorly. Fear is faith vibrating backwards. Apply consciousness. Apply breath. Observe your fear. Don't run from it. Look at it and start to breathe light onto it. You will see how the fear starts to dissolve and transform into prudence, and then into excitement, and then into power. You have changed the vibrational rate of the emotion. You have turned lead into gold. You are the master of your internal state, and as your internal state dictates your external reality, You are the master of your destiny. Tune your soul to the music of the spheres. Chapter 3. The Law of Correspondence. Imagine you walk into a bathroom. You look into the mirror and see that your face is dirty. You have a mud stain on your cheek. What do? Do you grab a towel and start rubbing the mirror glass with fury? Do you scream at the reflection? Do you try to clean the stain there on the cold surface of the glass? If you did that, they would call you crazy. You know by instinct and logic that the mirror is neutral. The mirror has no agenda. The mirror did not create the stain. The mirror simply informs. To clean the stain on the mirror, you have to clean the stain on your own face. When you change, the reflection changes. Instantly, without effort, without discussion. This is the perfect metaphor for your life. Your bank account is a mirror. Your relationship is a mirror. Your physical health is a mirror. Your home is a mirror. Welcome to the third universal law, the law of correspondence. This law was immortalized in the emerald tablet of Hermes Trismegistus with the most famous axiom in the history of occultism. As above, so below, as below, so above, as within, so without, as without, so within. This law is the master key that connects dimensions. It tells us that there is a harmony, a concordance, and a perfect correspondence between the different planes of existence. It connects the physical, mental, and spiritual planes. It tells us that your outer world is not a separate reality that attacks you. It is a 3D print of your inner world. You are the projector. The world is the screen. If you don't like the movie, it's useless to tear the screen. You have to change the film roll inside your head. The fractal universe, the pattern that repeats. To understand the depth of as above, so below, let's look at the geometry of nature. The universe is fractal. A fractal is a geometric figure that repeats itself across different scales. If you zoom into a fractal, you see the same shape over and over again, infinitely. Look at an atom, a nucleus with electrons orbiting around it. Look at a solar system, a sun with planets orbiting around it. Look at a galaxy, a gravitational center with stars orbiting around it. The pattern is the same. What changes is the scale. The structure of the neural network in your brain is identical to the structure of the cosmic web of galaxies. The veins in your lungs have the same pattern as the branches of a tree and the deltas of rivers. This means there is no chaos. There is a unified design that replicates from the micro to the macro. Why is this vital for you? Because it means that you are a microcosm of the universe. If you want to understand how God or the universe works, study yourself. And if you want to understand what is happening inside you, in your invisible subconscious, look at your external life, your visible reality. Your external life is the data readout of your internal state. You cannot cheat the law of correspondence. You can lie to your friends. You can lie to yourself saying, I am fine, I am positive, but your reality does not lie. If you are in financial bankruptcy, there is a corresponding internal bankruptcy. If your body is sick, there is a corresponding emotional or mental imbalance. Reality is the perfect diagnosis. It is the brutally honest feedback of the universe, the myth of the victim. The acceptance of this law is the death of the infantile ego. The ego loves being the victim. My boss is bad. The economy is terrible. My partner makes me unhappy. All these phrases assume that the outside has power over the inside. The law of correspondence tells you, false. No one makes you unhappy. You generate unhappiness in the face of someone's stimuli. No one makes you poor. You maintain a vibratory correspondence with scarcity. This is the hardest pill to swallow, but also the one that heals the most. Radical responsibility. If, as within, so without, then you are the architect of everything you experience. You are not guilty. Guilt is a low and useless vibration. You are responsible. Responsibility means you have the ability to respond. If you created the disorder, you can create the order. If you projected loneliness, you can project company. You stop looking at the sky waiting for luck to change and start looking inward to see which screw is loose. The mirror of relationships, the shadow. Where this law hurts most is in human relationships. The people around you are not random individuals. They are actors hired by your soul to show you what you do not want to see in yourself. Carl Jung called it the shadow. Everything you deny in yourself, you project onto others. If you are deeply irritated by selfish people, it is because you have a repressed selfishness that you haven't accepted. Or perhaps you have a lack of self-love, healthy selfishness, that you refuse to exercise. The other shows you your lack or your excess. The rule of the mirror. 1. What bothers you about the other? It is something that you have and deny, or something that you would like to have and repress. 2. What you love about the other? It is something you have potentially or are already manifesting. 3. What the other criticizes about you. If it hurts, it's because deep down you believe it's true. If it doesn't hurt, it's only the other's projection. Your tyrant partner is a mirror of your own lack of internal authority. Your friend who is always late is a mirror of your own lack of respect. Stop trying to change people. It is as useless as screaming at the bathroom mirror. If you change, if you become the authority, if you respect yourself, if you heal your rebellion, the other person has only 2 mechanical options. A. They change their behavior to match your new frequency. B. They leave your life because there is no longer correspondence, a healthy breakup. The universe does not allow vacuums. If you change, the stage changes. Money as a certificate of correspondence. Let's talk about money, because this is where the most hypocrisy exists. Many spiritual people say, I'm very rich on the inside but poor on the outside. The law of correspondence says, lie. If you were truly rich on the inside, if you had a mindset of abundance, self-worth and flow, it would be impossible to be poor on the outside long term. External poverty is the reflection of internal poverty. It can be a poverty of worthiness. I am not worth it. A poverty of beliefs. Money is evil. Or a poverty of action. I am afraid to move. Money is not a bill. It is energy of value. It is a certificate of gratitude. It is gratitude that the world gives you for the service you have rendered. As within, value provided meaning, so without, money received. If you want more money outside, you have to increase your value inside. You have to learn more, serve better, solve bigger problems, feel more worthy. Do not chase money. Money is the shadow of your growth. If you grow your shadow, your wealth grows automatically. You cannot have a large shadow if you are a small person. The body is a messenger. Your body is the most faithful map of your subconscious mind. The mind lies, the body never does. Every pain, every symptom, every illness has a psychosomatic correspondence. Mental stress, within, becomes a stomach ulcer, without. The emotional burden of carrying the weight of the world, within, becomes back pain, without. Inflexibility toward change, within, becomes arthritis or joint stiffness, without. The inability to swallow a situation, within, becomes a sore throat, without. Modern medicine treats the symptom, the mirror. It cuts, medicates, suppresses. Real medicine, holistic, understands correspondence. It asks, what is this symptom telling me about my life? Where am I being rigid? When you decode the message and change the mental pattern, within, the body no longer needs to scream, and the symptom, without, often remits. Your body is showing you in high definition what you are doing. The mirror delay, the time lag. Here is a trap that causes many to quit. You say, okay, I understand the law. Today I will think positive. Today I feel rich. Today I feel healthy. You look in the mirror of reality the next day, and you are still poor and sick. And you say, this doesn't work. You have forgotten a crucial factor, the density of matter. The mental plane, thought, is fast, almost instantaneous. The physical plane, matter, is slow, dense, and heavy. There is a time lag. What you see today is the reflection of who you were. It is the reflection of what you thought and felt 6 months or a year ago. It's like the light of stars. When you look at a star, you see the light it emitted thousands of years ago. Your current problems are dead stars. They are the reflection of your old self. The error is reacting to the dead star and creating new negative karma. The master understands the delay. He starts changing within today, knowing that without will take a while to reorganize its atoms to match the new image. During that waiting time, faith is required. Faith is not believing in the irrational. Faith is understanding that the law of correspondence is mechanical, but it takes time to develop the photo. Maintain the internal image despite the mirror showing the old. Persist, and suddenly the mirror will break and show the new reality. Order and chaos. A very fast way to apply this law is to use it in reverse. Sometimes it is hard to order the mind directly because thoughts are slippery, but you can use the principle as without, so within to hack your brain. If your mind is chaos, order your room. Jordan Peterson became famous saying, "Clean your room," and it is pure hermetic alchemy. By physically ordering your environment, without, you are sending a signal of order to your mental structure, within. By cleaning your desk, you are cleaning your psyche. By dressing with dignity and elegance, even if you are alone at home, you are raising your internal self-image. Use the physical world as a lever to move the mental world. Create a sanctuary of beauty and order around you, and your mind will be forced to enter resonance with that peace. The double vision technique. To master this law, you must develop what I call double vision. You must learn to walk through the world seeing two things simultaneously. 1. The form, the effect. You see the situation as it is physically, e.g., an unpaid bill. 2. The source, the cause. You immediately see what mental pattern created it, e.g., this corresponds to my fear of lack from last week. When you develop this vision, you stop being afraid. You see a monster and say, that is not a real monster, it is the shadow of my own finger. And you lower your finger, and the monster disappears. Living this way gives you a supernatural tranquility. You know there are no external enemies. You know there is no bad luck. There is only data. There is only feedback. You become a programmer of reality. Application protocol. The Correspondence journal. How to train this? For the next 7 days, keep a correspondence journal. Every time something triggers a strong emotional reaction, positive or negative, stop. Do not judge the external event. Write 1. External event. 2. Mirror question. In what area of my life am I disrespecting myself? Or in what area am I judging others? 3. Internal action. I am going to start respecting myself by setting clear limits. Do this with everything, with traffic, with money, with love. At first it is exhausting, because the ego hates assuming the blame. But after a few days you will feel an explosive release. You will realize that you have the controls. If everything is me, then I can change everything. The change starts now. The fractal scale. Small changes, large results. The beauty of fractals is that if you change the pattern on a small scale, the change propagates to the large scales. He who is faithful in little is faithful in much. You don't need to fix your whole life at once. That overwhelms. Fix a small corner of your life. Start with your body, within microcosm. Eat well, exercise. In doing so, you change your vibration. That change will affect your self-confidence, mind. That confidence will affect how you speak, relationships. That will improve your income, money. And so a small change in diet ends up changing your financial destiny. Everything is connected. Pull one thread and you will move the entire web. The mirror is waiting. What face will you show it today? Chapter 4. The Law of Attraction, the Magnet. Surely you have heard of this law. Millions of books have been written, movies have been made, and courses have been sold, promising that if you visualize a check on the ceiling of your bed, money will fall from the sky. And surely you have tried it. You have visualized. You have made your vision board. You have repeated affirmations, and nothing has happened. Or worse yet, the opposite has happened. You have lost money or felt more frustrated. Why? Is the law a lie? No. The law is perfect. The failure lies in your understanding of the law. The pop version of the law of attraction says, you attract what you want. That is false. If you attracted what you wanted, beggars would attract money, and the sick would attract health, because no one wants it more than they do. The real law of attraction, the hermetic and physical law, says, you do not attract what you want, you attract what you are. This distinction is the difference between a frustrated dreamer and a manifesting magician. The universe does not listen to your verbal requests. The universe does not speak English or Spanish or Chinese. The universe speaks frequency. The universe reads your electromagnetic signature. If your mouth says, "I want to be rich," but your visceral vibration says, "I'm afraid of not making it to the end of the month," the universe ignores the word and obeys the vibration, and it sends you more scarcity. It is mechanical. In this chapter, we are going to dismantle the mechanism of the magnet. We are going to learn how to tune your internal radio so that the music that plays is the one you chose, not the one they imposed on you. It is time to take control of your broadcast. The physics of the magnet, thought versus feeling. To understand how the human magnet works, we must look at our biology. You have two main energy generators, the brain and the heart. The brain generates electricity, neuronal electrical impulses. The heart generates magnetism. The heart generates a measurable magnetic field that extends several meters outside your body. According to the Heart Math Institute, the magnetic field of the heart is up to 5,000 times more powerful than that of the brain. This is crucial. Thought, brain, is electrical. It sends the signal to the universe. The signal is the rocket. Feeling, heart, is magnetic. It brings the signal back. It is the gravity. You can think about your new car all day, electricity, but if you don't feel the emotion of having it, magnetism, the signal goes out but doesn't come back. You attract nothing. The law of attraction is, in reality, a law of cardiac resonance. You only attract that which you are able to feel as real in your body right now. If you try to attract love but your heart is closed and full of resentment, your magnetic field is a repellent shield. The equation is clear intention, mind, plus elevated emotion, heart, matter. The paradox of desire. Why wanting is losing. Here is the death trap that 99% of people fall into. The act of wanting or desiring something implies by definition that you do not have it. If you already had the $1 million in your hand, would you desire it? No, you would enjoy it, you would be grateful for it, or you wouldn't care. But you wouldn't desire it with anxiety. The anxiety of desire is the vibration of lack. It is a signal of absence. When you say, "I want so much to find a partner," you are vibrating in "I am alone and desperate." And what does the vibration of loneliness and desperation attract? More loneliness and desperate situations. The universe is a literal mirror. If you scream, "I need," the mirror reflects the image of someone needy. To attract something, you have to hack the paradox. You have to renounce the need. You have to reach a vibratory state where you feel that you already have it, or that you are so complete that you don't care if it arrives or not. This is called living in the end or detachment. It is the attitude of, "It would be wonderful to have that and I choose it, but I don't need it to be happy because I am already the source of my happiness." In the moment you let go of the desperate need, the resistance disappears. The energy flows. And that which you were pursuing begins to run toward you. Money pursues those who do not need it. Love pursues those who love themselves. The subconscious, the guardian of the gate. You can consciously say, "I am a success." But your subconscious mind has a different recording. The subconscious is 30,000 times more powerful and controls 95% of your life. It has a recording from your childhood that says, "You are useless and money is evil." Who wins the battle of attraction? The subconscious. Always. The subconscious is the soil of the garden. Your conscious thought is the seed. You can plant an oak seed, thought of wealth, but if the soil is toxic or full of stones, limiting beliefs, the seed will die. The law of attraction does not work if there is no coherence between the conscious desire and the subconscious belief. How is the guardian reprogrammed? The subconscious only learns in two ways. 1. Hypnosis, low brainwave states, just before sleeping and just upon waking. In those moments, the logical door is open. It is the time to visualize and feel your new reality. 2. Repetition of high emotional impact. An affirmation said like a parrot is useless. An affirmation shouted with passion, or felt with tears of gratitude is imprinted on the hard drive. You have to convince your subconscious that the new reality is already true. The subconscious does not distinguish between what your eyes see and what you imagine. If you imagine that you bite a lemon, you salivate. Your body reacts to the mental image. If you imagine and feel success with the same intensity, your subconscious will begin to move you toward it automatically. Tuning the frequency, the cosmic radio. Let's return to the radio analogy. You are a human antenna. You are emitting a signal 24/7. That signal is composed of your dominant thoughts and your habitual feelings. The law of attraction says, like attracts like. If you emit on the FM 98.5 frequency, complaint, you can only pick up realities on 98.5, problems. The music of wealth is on FM 105.0. You cannot listen to 105.0 while being on 98.5. It is physically impossible. It is not that God does not want you to be rich. It is that you are not on the channel where wealth is delivered. To change channels, you have to change your state of being. You have to ask yourself, how would the version of me that already has the money feel? It would feel secure, calm, generous, relaxed. Therefore, your job is not to get money. Your job is to feel secure, calm, generous, and relaxed, now, without the money. By provoking that vibration artificially, you tune into 105.0. And once tuned, the song, the physical manifestation, begins to play. First comes the frequency, then the reality. Never the other way around. People wait to see to believe. The law demands believing to see. The power of I am identity. The most potent form of invocation in the universe are the words I am. In the Bible and in ancient texts, I am is the name of God. Metaphysically, what you put after I am is an order of creation that you give to yourself. You give it to your own molecular structure and the quantum field. When you say, I am poor, I am sick, and I am stupid, you are signing your sentence. You are using the power of God to destroy yourself. The law of attraction responds to your identity. You do not get what you want. You get what you are. Therefore, the ultimate trick is the identity change. Stop being the seeker. Start being the possessor. Stop acting like someone who wants to be successful. Start walking, talking, dressing, and thinking like someone who already is. It is called acting as if, but it is not a fake performance to deceive others. It is a sacred performance to transform yourself. Put on the suit of the character you want to be. Use it until you stop feeling that it is a disguise and it begins to be your skin. When your internal identity changes, I am a healthy person, your habits change on their own and physical reality aligns. Correct visualization. Feel, don't see. Many people visualize wrong. They close their eyes and see themselves on a movie screen driving a Ferrari. They see themselves there in the third person. That creates separation. That tells the brain that is a movie, it is not me. Correct visualization is associated. First person. Do not see yourself driving the car. Feel the steering wheel in your hands. Smell the leather of the seats. Look at the road through the windshield. Feel the acceleration in your stomach. Make it sensory, tactile, olfactory. And most importantly, add the emotion. What would you feel if it were true right now? Euphoria, relief, gratitude. That feeling of the wish fulfilled is the fuel. The image is only the map. The emotion is the gasoline. If you visualize for 10 minutes but feel nothing, you have lost 10 minutes. If you feel the deep emotion for 10 seconds, you have moved mountains. The environment and people reverse attraction. The law works in both directions. You attract, but you are also attracted. If you are surrounded by 5 negative, broke, and cynical people, the law of attraction will keep you stuck to that reality. It is social gravity. Sometimes to activate the law in your favor, you have to apply conscious repulsion. You have to move away from what does not vibrate with you. By creating a vacuum, by eliminating the toxic, the universe rushes to fill it with something new that vibrates with your new frequency. Do not be afraid of losing friends when you start to raise your vibration. It is a sign of success. It means you are no longer compatible. Gratitude, the quantum accelerator. If complaining is the handbrake, Gratitude is the nitro. Why? Because gratitude is the vibratory signal we emit when we have already received something. If someone gives you a gift, you say thank you. Therefore, when you give thanks for something that hasn't arrived, when you give thanks for something that hasn't physically arrived yet, you are hacking the matrix. You are sending the signal, it already happened. The universe receives the signal, it already happened, and to maintain logical coherence, it is forced to manifest it in the physical plane. Thanking for your perfect health while you are sick is the most powerful act of faith that exists. Thanking for the money while seeing the zero balance is pure alchemy. Living in constant gratitude places you in the frequency of reception. You become an open door for miracles. The dark side, unconscious attraction. We must talk about this. The law of attraction has no morals. It does not distinguish between good for you or bad for you. It only distinguishes focus and energy. If you spend the day obsessed with your debts, talking about them, fearing them, if you feel the knot in your stomach because of debts, you are using the law of attraction perfectly. You are attracting more debt. Worry is, literally, praying for what you do not want. It is visualizing the worst scenario with a high emotional charge. It is negative creative visualization. Most people are masters at manifesting misfortunes because they put a lot of passion into their fears. The challenge of the master is to withdraw attention from the undesired. Do not fight against the darkness. Turn on the light. Ignore the current circumstances if you do not like them. Where attention goes, energy flows. Where energy flows, matter appears. The gestation time, patience. We live in a universe of time and space. There is a lapse between sowing and harvesting. If you plant a tomato seed today and dig it up tomorrow to see if it grew, you kill it. The law of attraction requires gestation. You emit the signal today. The universe begins to pull strings, to coordinate coincidences, to align people. That takes earthly time. The problem is that people emit the signal of wealth on Monday, and on Tuesday they emit the signal of, I am poor. You just cancelled the order. The universe says, okay, cancelled, sending you poverty. Persistence in the vibration is key. You have to maintain faith in the vision when your physical senses tell you the opposite. You have to be able to look at your empty account and still feel abundant. You must know that the money is on its way, just as you know that the Amazon package is on its way, even if you don't see it at your door yet. Trust the logistics of the universe. The how and the when are not your business. Your business is the what and the why. Practical protocol, the morning script. To apply this tomorrow, use the technique of scripting. Buy a notebook. Each morning, spend 5 minutes writing your day or your life as if it had already happened. Write in the present tense. I am so happy and grateful now that I earn $10,000 a month. I love waking up in my house by the sea. I feel the sun on my face. I feel calm and powerful. While you write, feel it. Let the ink be an extension of your emotion. By doing this, you are pre-paving your day. You are setting the vibration. Chapter 5, The Law of Inspired Action. Imagine a man sitting on his living room sofa. He has read all the books about the law of attraction. He has visualized an athletic and healthy body. He has felt the emotion of having it. He has repeated, I am health 1,000 times. But this man never gets off the sofa. He continues to eat junk food. He continues without moving a muscle. Months pass. He looks in the mirror and is still overweight. Furious, he screams at the sky. The law of attraction is a scam. Is it a scam? No. The man failed because he ignored the fifth universal law. He ignored the law of inspired action. We live in a physical universe. Although the origin of everything is mental and vibratory, laws 1, 2, 3, and 4, the final manifestation occurs in the plane of matter, and in the plane of matter, energy needs a vehicle to move. That vehicle is action. Attraction is the feminine principle, magnetic, receptive, gestating. Action is the masculine principle, electrical, penetrating, constructive. Trying to create a new life only with visualization is like trying to have a baby without the sexual act. You can desire the baby with all your soul. But you need the union of the two polarities for life to emerge. Action is the bridge that connects the invisible world of your dreams with the visible world of your results. Without the bridge, your dreams stay trapped on the shore of fantasy, waving their hands, waiting for someone to cross. No one will cross for you. You have to build it yourself. Forced action versus inspired action. This is where most get confused and fall into the trap of hard work. Society has programmed us with the paradigm of effort. If you don't kill yourself working, you won't be successful. They say, blood, sweat, and tears. That is forced action. Forced action is born from fear and lack. It feels heavy. It feels like pushing a rock uphill. It exhausts you. It burns you out. It is swimming against the river's current. You can advance, yes, but the cost is brutal. The energetic cost is massive, and progress is slow. When you act from force, you are saying to the universe, I don't trust you, I have to do it all by myself. You are operating only with your small biological battery. Inspired action is completely different. It is born from connection. It is born from intuition and enthusiasm. The word enthusiasm comes from the Greek entheos, God within. When you act with inspiration, you don't feel like you are working. You feel like you are playing. You feel like you are dancing. It is swimming with the current. The river, the universe, carries you, and you only have to stroke to steer the course. You advance miles with minimum effort. Inspired action feels light, exciting, almost compulsive. I have to do this now because it burns inside me. It is the painter who spends 12 hours in the studio. He forgets to eat because he is in flow. It is the entrepreneur who has an idea at 3 in the morning and gets up to write it with a smile. The law of inspired action does not ask you to work more. It asks you to work aligned. It asks for your total presence. The anatomy of the nudge. How do you know when you should act? How do you distinguish a crazy idea from a divine instruction? The universe is not going to send you a fax or a WhatsApp message. The universe communicates through subtle impulses. In English, they call it the nudge. You are washing the dishes and suddenly, the image of an old friend comes to you. You feel a warmth in your chest. A quick thought. Call her. That is the nudge. Most people ignore it. Bah, I haven't seen her in years. How weird it would be to call now. I'll do it later. Fatal error. You just hung up the phone on God. That call could have been the door to your new job or to your ideal partner, or to the solution to your problem. Inspired action requires immediate obedience. Intuition has a very short half-life. It is like ice cream in the sun. If you don't eat it now, it melts. If you wait to analyze it logically, the magical moment passes. The door closes. The master trains his response reflex. Feel the impulse. Act without hesitation. When you obey these small illogical impulses, the universe rewards you. It rewards you with amazing synchronicities. You realize you are not walking blind. You are being guided by an omniscient GPS. The universe moves the strings. You move your feet. There is a Sufi story about a man who prayed to God every day. Lord, please make me win the lottery. He prayed with faith. He cried. He visualized. Years passed. The man died poor and angry. Upon reaching heaven, he complained to God, I prayed to you all my life. Why didn't you make me win the lottery? God looked at him and said, My son, I wanted you to win. I had the prize ready for you, but you never bought a ticket. This is the essence of co-creation. The universe can organize the events, it can align the probabilities, it can put the right people in the right city, but the universe cannot act for you in the physical plane. God has no body. You are the body of God. You are the hands and feet of infinite intelligence. If you want to move a brick, you need a physical hand. Meditation does not move bricks. Meditation gives you the idea of where to put the brick, but your hand has to lift it. The law of action is the partnership agreement. The universe says, I provide the opportunity, the open door. You say, I provide the movement, walking through it. If you stay waiting for the universe to push you through the door, you will wait eternally. The universe respects free will. Fear as a compass. Here is a counterintuitive secret. Often, inspired action comes wrapped in fear. It is not the paralyzing fear of terror, but that electrifying fear of uncertainty, the butterflies in the stomach. Stephen Pressfield, in The War of Art, says, "The more scared you are of a specific task or action, the more certain you can be that that task is important for the evolution of your soul." Fear is a compass. If an action doesn't matter to you, it is probably not important. If an action scares you, listen. If it scares you, speaking in public, launching that business, declaring your love, it is because there is a great energetic treasure behind it. Resistance, fear, clusters around the point of greatest growth. Therefore, inspired action usually requires an act of courage. The universe is testing your faith. Do you really want this? Are you willing to go through the discomfort to get it? If you say yes and act despite the fear, the universe opens the floodgates. The comfort zone is the death zone of dreams. Magic only happens in the panic zone. Learn to interpret that fear not as a stop signal, but as a signal of here is the goal, dig here. You don't need to see the whole staircase. The number one reason people don't act is because they want to see the complete plan before taking the first step. I want to start a business, but I don't know how to make the web or the taxes or the marketing, so I better not start. That is paralysis by analysis. The law of inspired action works like driving at night with the headlights on. The headlights only illuminate the first 50 meters. You don't see the final destination, which is 300 kilometers away. But you can make the whole trip seeing only those 50 meters. When you advance 50 meters, the headlights illuminate the next 50. The universe will only reveal the next step to you. Call Juan. You say, what for? What is going to happen next? The universe says, it's none of your business. Call Juan, then I'll tell you step 2. You have to trust the intelligence of the process. If you stay still demanding a complete map, you will never leave the garage. Take the first step with faith. The ground will appear under your feet as you advance. Martin Luther King Jr. said, faith is taking the first step even when you don't see the whole staircase. The concept of Wu Wei, action without effort. In Taoism, there is the concept of Wu Wei, often translated as non-action. But it is a bad translation. It should be action without friction or action without ego. It doesn't mean staying lying down. It means acting in perfect harmony with the Tao, the flow of nature. Observe how a plant grows. It doesn't strive. It doesn't sweat. It doesn't stress. It simply grows. It breaks the asphalt if necessary, with an unstoppable force, but without tension. Observe water. Water flows toward the sea. If it finds a rock, it doesn't fight the rock. It goes around it, or it patiently erodes it. But it never stops flowing. Inspired action is Wu Wei. It is when you stop trying to make things happen, ego control, and allow things to happen through you. You become an instrument. You get out of the way. When you write, it is not you who writes. Inspiration writes through your hand. When you negotiate, wisdom flows. That state of flow is the maximum expression of this law. It is maximum efficiency with minimum wear. Preparing the ground, symbolic action. Sometimes you don't know what to do. You are stuck. In those moments, you can invoke the law through symbolic action. Act as if your desire is already coming. Prepare the ground for landing. Do you want to find a partner? Clean your closet and leave empty space for their clothes. Sleep on one side of the bed, leaving the other free. Buy an extra coffee cup. Do you want clients? Organize your desk. Prepare the blank invoices. Have the suit ready. Do you want to travel? Have the suitcase handy and the passport renewed. These physical actions send a powerful signal to the subconscious and the universe. I expect it. I am ready. There is space. Nature abhors a vacuum. By creating physical space through action, you suction reality so that it fills it. It is a tangible act of faith. You are proving your belief with facts, not just with thoughts. Procrastination, the resistance of the ego. Procrastination is not laziness. It is fear in disguise. It is a defense of the ego to avoid facing the possibility of failure or success, which also scares. When you postpone an inspired action, the energy rots. Inspiration is fresh energy. If you keep it in a drawer, it becomes stale. It turns into guilt. It turns into anxiety, into heaviness. The longer you postpone an action, the bigger and more terrifying the monster in your mind becomes. The only way to kill the monster of procrastination is immediate and imperfect action. Forget perfection. Perfection is the enemy of the good. Do it badly. Do it halfway, but do it. Once you are in motion, it is easy to correct the course. It is impossible to correct the course of a parked car. Action cures fear. Action generates clarity. Inaction generates doubt and terror. Move your body and your mind will follow. The 5-second rule. To hack your brain and apply this law, use the 5-second rule, popularized by Mel Robbins. Your brain has a window of about 5 seconds between the moment you have an instinct to act and the moment your rational mind intervenes to kill it with doubts. I should raise my hand in the meeting. 1, 2, 3. No, better not. What are they going to think? Maybe I'll say something stupid. Dead action. The trick is to count backwards. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go, and move physically before reaching 0. Raise the hand. Dial the number. Put on the sneakers. By counting backwards, you distract your prefrontal cortex, the part that worries, and activate the motor part. You launch into the void before your ego can grab you. Become a sniper. Don't think. Aim. Fire. Life rewards the bold. The balance between being and doing. We live in a culture obsessed with doing. Spirituality sometimes gets obsessed with being. The law of inspired action is the sacred marriage between both. Being, doing, having. That is the correct order. First you are. You vibrate in abundance. From that state of being you do. You act with inspiration and certainty, not with desperation. And as an inevitable result, you have the physical manifestation. Most people try doing, having, being. I will work a lot, doing, to have money, having, and then I will be happy, being. That never works. First be happy and abundant. From that joy, your work will be brilliant and magnetic, and the money will come as a consequence. Your action is not to get something you lack. Your action is to express what you already are. The bird does not sing to become a bird. It sings because it is a bird, and singing is its inevitable nature. Act because it is your creative nature, not out of hunger for results. Flow with the universe. Let every step be a prayer in motion. The bridge is under your feet. Walk. Chapter 6. The Law of Perpetual Transmutation of Energy. Look at an old photograph. You see people frozen in time, smiling forever, young forever. Now look at real life. Does something like that exist? Does any moment stay still? No. Your cells are dying and being born by the millions while you listen to this. The water in the rivers evaporates, becomes a cloud, rains, and returns to the river. Money changes hands. Empires fall and others rise. Your mood changes from joy to sadness and back to joy. We live in a universe of constant flow. Stability is an optical illusion. Permanence is a myth of the human mind seeking security. Reality is a river of liquid fire that never, ever stops. Welcome to the 6th universal law, the law of perpetual transmutation of energy. This law is the supreme hope of humanity. Why? Because it establishes that no condition is permanent. If you are in poverty, it is not a life sentence. It is just energy temporarily condensed into that form, waiting to be moved. If you are sick, sad, or alone, it is only a transitory state of energy. This law tells you that energy is always moving from the invisible, spiritual, mental, toward the visible, physical, material, and that you have the power to change the form of that energy at any time. You are the alchemist. You do not need lead and sulfur. You need thought and emotion. You have the divine power to touch the lead of your life and turn it into gold, simply by changing the quality of the energy that flows through you. The physics of change, spiritual thermodynamics. Science calls it the first law of thermodynamics. Energy is neither created nor destroyed, only transformed. This is vital. It means you don't have to create the energy to be rich. The energy of money already exists. You don't have to create the energy to heal. The energy of life is already there. All the energy that was, is, and will be is present right now, filling every corner of the universe. Your job is not to be the generator, but the transformer. Imagine a power plant. Electricity reaches your house with a very high voltage that would burn your appliances. You need a transformer to change that raw energy into useful and safe energy. Your mind is that transformer. Cosmic energy flows toward you constantly. It is neutral. It is not good or bad. It is pure potency without form. When it enters your mind, you give it form. You give it form with your thoughts. If you think in fear, you transform that neutral potency into anxiety and attract disasters. If you think in love, you transform the same potency into charisma and attract miracles. Energy is wet clay. It never dries. It is always ready to be reshaped. The problem is that most people modeled a victim figure 10 years ago, and since then they have forgotten that they have the clay in their hands. They keep holding the same ugly figure, believing that this is life. The law screams at you, smash the figure, make a new one. The clay obeys you now, not yesterday. The principle of dominance, the high consumes the low. This is the operational key to transmutation. Higher and faster vibrations have dominance over lower and slower vibrations. Think about it. If you walk into a totally dark room, low frequency, and light a candle, high frequency, what happens? Does the darkness attack the light? Does the darkness put out the candle? No. The light dissolves the darkness instantaneously. Darkness has no active power. Darkness is simply the absence of light. Light is active energy. Therefore, you don't have to fight against negativity. You don't have to shovel out the darkness. You simply have to introduce light. If you are sad, low vibration, do not fight against the sadness. Do not tell yourself, don't be sad. That is giving energy to the problem. Apply a higher frequency. Put on happy music. Sing. Give thanks. Laugh, even if it is forced at first. The frequency of joy is faster and more powerful than that of sadness. By pure wave mechanics, joy will consume and transmute sadness. It is like pouring hot water into an ice bucket. The ice has no choice. It has to melt and become water. You have control of the thermostat. Never allow yourself to get stuck in a low vibration by inertia. The moment you detect a low point, apply the law. Inject high-frequency energy. Transmute. The body as an alchemical laboratory. Your body is the crucible where this magic occurs. You are constantly transmuting energy. You eat an apple, matter-condensed solar energy. Your body transmutes it into skin, bone, thought, and movement. That is a miraculous alchemy that you take for granted. But you also perform emotional alchemy. Someone insults you. That is a low-frequency energy, a poison dart, entering your system. You have two options. One, unconscious reaction. You keep the poison, chew it, get angry, and give it back. You shout. You have transmuted nothing. You have multiplied the low vibration. 2. Conscious transmutation. You receive the energy of the insult. You feel the impact. But instead of returning it as anger, you stop it. You stop it in your center. You breathe. You decide to use that extra energy, the adrenaline of the impact, for something productive. You say, I am going to use this fury to finish my project today. Or, I am going to use this pain to become more compassionate. You take the lead of the insult and turn it into the gold of determination. This is what martial arts masters, Aikido, do. They take the force of the opponent's attack and redirect it fluidly and elegantly. They do not block. They transmute the attack into a dance. Every negative emotion is fuel. Anxiety is kinetic energy without direction. Direct it, and it becomes enthusiasm. Envy is repressed desire. Release it, and it becomes inspiration. Fear is sharpened attention. Focus it, and it becomes prudence and precision. Do not throw away your emotional trash. Recycle it. Use it to ignite your engine. The flow of money, the law of circulation, the law of perpetual transmutation is vital for wealth. Money is energy. That is why it is called currency, flow. For energy to stay alive and healthy, it must move. Stagnant water rots. Stagnant blood clots and kills. Stagnant money loses value, inflation, and blocks abundance. Many poor people violate this law out of fear. They try to accumulate and hoard. They close their fist. I have to keep this because I don't know if there will be more. By closing the fist, they stop the perpetual transmutation. They cut the flow. They tell the universe, the flow ended here, and the universe stops sending more. To receive, you have to give. You have to keep the channel open. This does not mean spending irresponsibly. It means circulating value. Pay your bills with joy, knowing that money is going to feed other families and that it will return to you multiplied. Invest in yourself. Donate. Move the energy. Create a vacuum so the law can fill it. If you have a closet full of old clothes you don't use, you cannot receive new clothes. The energy is stagnant. Donate the old clothes. Transmute your closet. And you will see how, magically, the means to buy new clothes appear. Nature abhors a vacuum. Create strategic vacuums and perpetual transmutation will fill them with gold. Environment and atmosphere. Have you ever walked into a house and felt like running away? Or walked into a temple or a loving grandmother's house and felt immediate peace? Spaces accumulate energy. Walls record what happens between them. If there are constant fights in a house, the energy densifies. It becomes heavy, but you can transmute the atmosphere of a room. You are not a thermometer, you are a thermostat. The thermometer only reacts. It's cold, I mark cold. That is a victim. The thermostat decrees, it's cold, but I am programmed at 24 degrees, so I'm going to turn on the heat until reality matches me. That is a creator. When you enter a tense meeting, do not get sad by sympathy. Activate your internal thermostat. Enter smiling. Enter with light. Enter vibrating high. At first, you will feel resistance, but if you maintain your high frequency, remember, the high dominates the low. The atmosphere of the room will change. People will relax. Someone will make a joke. The tension will dissipate. You have transmuted the environment without saying a word, just with your presence. That is the power of the magician, to change the reality of others simply by being himself. Transmutation of circumstances, crisis into opportunity. The most practical application of this law is in the face of adversity. You get fired from your job. The energy freezes in the form of misfortune. Most people cry and accept the form of misfortune. The alchemist looks at the firing and says, "This is pure energy. It has destroyed my old routine. It has freed my time. This energy of destruction can be transmuted into energy of creation." And he uses that event to start his own business, something he never would have done if he stayed comfortable in his job. 5 years later, he says, "That firing was the best thing that ever happened to me." Was the firing good in itself? No, it was a neutral event. But he transmuted it into something good. Do not wait for things to improve. Things are neutral. Take what there is, whatever it is, and transmute it into something that serves you. If life gives you lemons, don't just make lemonade. Plant the seeds, grow an orchard, sell the lemons, franchise the brand, and become a millionaire. That is the attitude. Perpetual transmutation means nothing is an end. Everything is raw material for the next beginning. The danger of obsession, fixing energy. The law says energy wants to move and change. Human suffering comes, almost always, from our neurotic attempt to stop change. We want that happy moment to last forever. We want our children not to grow up. We want our partner not to change. That is going against the law. Trying to stop the flow is like trying to stop a tsunami with your hands. It will crush you. Attachment is the attempt to freeze energy, and when you freeze energy, it dies. Love, if you grab it too tightly for fear of losing it, suffocates and becomes possession, low vibration. You must have an open hand. Let the energy flow through you. Enjoy the form it has today, knowing tomorrow it will have another. If today it is money, enjoy it. If tomorrow it is experience and learning, enjoy it. If the day after it is love, enjoy it. Do not attach to the form. Attach to the essence. The essence is eternal. The form is transitory. If you accept perpetual change, you become invulnerable. Nothing can be taken from you because you never possessed it. You were only the channel through which it flowed at that moment. Practical technique. The violet flame. Active visualization. Metaphysicians use a very powerful visual tool to apply this law, the violet flame. The color violet has the highest vibratory frequency of the visible spectrum. It is the color of transmutation. When you have a problem, physical pain, or obsessive worry, do this. 1. Sit quietly and close your eyes. 2. Visualize the problem as a dark, heavy rock. Feel its density in your chest or hands. 3. Now invoke the law of transmutation. Visualize a bonfire of bright, electric, and living violet fire. 4. Throw the dark rock into the violet fire. Watch, with your mind's eye, how the fire doesn't just burn the rock, but transmutes it. Watch how that darkness turns into sparks of golden light, white birds or scented smoke. Feel the physical relief. Heavy energy has been released and returned to the universe as pure, positive energy. Do this every night before sleep. Do not go to bed with lead in your pockets. Transmute it into light so your subconscious can work freely while you sleep. The clean channel. To be a great transmuter, you must be a clean channel. If the pipe is clogged with rust, resentment, guilt, the past, the energy does not flow well. Transmutation is slow. You have to clean yourself. Forgiveness is not a moral act. It is an act of pipe cleaning. To forgive is to let go of old, stagnant energy to allow new, fresh energy to enter. As long as you hold a grudge, you are keeping a ball of toxic, low-frequency energy in your field. That ball is blocking the entrance of your new wealth and health. Let it go. Not for them, for you. For the law of perpetual transmutation to bring you the gold, you have to let go of the coal you are squeezing in your hand. Creation is continuous. Remember always, you are never finished. Your life is not a painting you paint and hang on the wall. Your life is a movie being filmed frame by frame in real time. You may have had a horror scene in the previous minute, but in this precise second, you have the power. You have the power to transmute the script and turn the next scene into a romantic comedy or an epic of triumph. You are not defined by your past, because the past is energy that already transformed. You are only defined by how you are transmuting energy now. You are a perpetual creator. Every thought is a chisel. Every emotion is a hammer. You are constantly sculpting light. Move with the flow, alchemist. Chapter 7. The Law of Cause and Effect and Compensation. If you go to a casino, you will see thousands of people praying to Lady Luck. They blow on the dice, cross their fingers, wear amulets. They believe the result depends on the whim of an invisible and random force. If you go to the stock market, you will see novice investors. You will see them waiting for a stroke of luck. If you look at society, you will see millions of people asking themselves, why me? Why do I have such bad luck? Why is the universe so unfair? It is time to grow up. It is time to stop believing in the fairy godmother. It is time to start believing in the calculator. Welcome to the seventh universal law, the law of cause and effect. This law is the pillar of science and sanity. It establishes that every cause has its effect, every effect has its cause. Chance does not exist. Luck does not exist. Randomness does not exist. What we call luck is simply a name we give to a law we do not recognize or to a cause we have not seen. But in the great ledger of the universe, there are no mistakes. There are no leaks. 2 plus 2 is always 4. It is never 3 nor 5. If you understand this law, the fear of the future disappears. Why? Because the future is not a random mystery that is going to fall upon you. The future is the mathematical effect of the causes you are putting into motion today. If you plant tomatoes, it is impossible to harvest pumpkins. No amount of luck matters. It is biology, it is law. You are the sower, your life is the field, and the harvest is mandatory. The great boomerang, the mechanics of return. Imagine you are standing in the center. Imagine you are in the center of a perfect circular room. The walls are made of elastic rubber. You have a pile of balls in your hands. If you throw a ball with anger against the wall, what happens? The ball bounces and returns to you with the same force or more as you threw it. It hits you in the face. You scream, "The world is attacking me, what an injustice." No, you attacked yourself with a time delay. If you throw a ball gently, it returns gently to your hands. If you throw a gift, the gift returns. This is the mechanics of your life. Every thought you emit, every word you say, and every action you perform is a boomerang you throw into the cosmos. The boomerang travels, gathers similar energy along the way, turns around, and returns to its point of origin. You. Sometimes the return is immediate. You put your hand in the fire, you get burned. Sometimes the return takes years. You smoke today, so you get sick in 20 years, or you help a stranger today. He saves your life in a decade. The time delay is what confuses the foolish, since they don't see the effect immediately. Since they don't see it, they believe they have gotten away with it. I stole and they didn't catch me. I was cruel and no one said anything. Delusional. The boomerang is in the air. It is traveling, and I assure you by the sacred mechanics of the universe that it will return. No one escapes. Ralph Waldo Emerson, in his essay on compensation, said it better than anyone. It is impossible for a man to be cheated by anyone but himself. You think you are cheating the system, but the system keeps score. The law of compensation, the salary of the universe. Within the law of cause and effect, there is a vital financial and energetic sublaw, the law of compensation. This law says, the amount of remuneration, money, love, success you receive will be exact and proportional to the value of the service you provide. The universe always pays you your fair wage. If you don't like how much you are earning, in money or in happiness, do not scream at the boss, the universe. Review your work. Compensation depends on 3 factors. 1. The need for what you do. Do you serve a real need? 2. Your skill in doing it. Are you good at what you do? 3. The difficulty in replacing you. Are you unique? Many people want to be millionaires, effect, without offering a millionaire service, cause. That is violating the law. It is wanting heat without putting wood in the fireplace. People say the world is unfair, I am a good person and I am poor. Being a good person is laudable, and its compensation is peace of mind and good friendships. But if you want money, the cause is not being good. The cause is providing market value. If you want love, the cause is loving. Every coin has 2 sides. You cannot have one side without the other. You cannot have receiving without giving. They are the same thing at different ends of the pole. If you feel that life owes you something, wake up. Life owes you nothing. Life is paying you exactly what you have sown. If you want more, give more, serve more people, solve bigger problems, love more intensely. Compensation will arrive. Not because the universe is good, but because the universe seeks balance. If you create a vacuum by giving a lot, the universe must fill it by giving you back a lot. It is hydrostatic pressure. The butterfly effect and invisible causes. Sometimes we say, but I didn't do anything to deserve this tragedy. Here we enter the realm of subtle causes. The butterfly effect tells us that the flapping of a butterfly's wings in Brazil can cause a tornado in Texas weeks later. A small cause can generate a massive effect if it is amplified over time. A small thought of envy you had 5 years ago could have started a chain of events. A chain of vibratory events that today manifests as a blockage in your own business. Small or private thoughts do not exist. Everything counts. Everything adds up on the scale. That is why the master is extremely vigilant. He knows he cannot afford the luxury of a negative thought. He knows it is a weed seed. If you plant a weed, it will grow. It doesn't matter if you planted it unintentionally or just a little bit. The earth does not judge. The earth grows what you give it. Ignorance of the law does not exempt you from its fulfillment. If you drink poison thinking it is water, you will die just the same. The law is impersonal. Karmic accounting, no guilt, just data. The word karma has been misinterpreted as divine punishment. You have bad karma, you are being punished. That is a childish and religious vision. Karma, in Sanskrit, simply means action. It is the memory of the universe. It is inertia. If you push a car downhill, the car picks up speed. Karma. If you try to stop it, it will cost you a lot because it carries inertia. Your current conditions are your accumulated karma. Your bank account, your body, and your relationships are the results report of your past actions. Look at them without guilt. Guilt is useless. Guilt is paralyzing. Look at them like a data scientist. Wow, I am overweight. That is the effect. What was the cause? During the last 3 years I ate excess sugar and didn't move. Perfect. The law worked impeccably. If I want a different effect, health, I must introduce a different cause today. Period. No drama, no crying. The law of cause and effect is your best friend because it gives you back control. If it were a matter of luck, you couldn't do anything. Since it is a matter of causes, you can do everything. Sowing in the darkness. The difficult part of this law is faith in the sowing time. When you plant a seed, you cover it with earth. You see nothing. Days pass, weeks. It seems like nothing is happening. The fool digs up the earth every day to see if it grows and kills the seed, or he gives up and stops watering. This doesn't work. The wise man knows that under the surface, in the darkness, the seed is breaking its shell. He keeps watering, persistence. He keeps removing the weeds, negative thoughts. He knows that the law does not fail. And one day, boom, the sprout comes out, and then the growth is exponential. If you are doing things right and don't see results yet, do not stop. You are in the gestation phase. The boomerang is turning the furthest curve. It is about to return. If you stop now, you lose the momentum. Compensation often comes accumulated. The universe withholds payment to generate interest, and suddenly it pays you everything at once. It is the overnight success that took 10 years to gestate. The chain of favors, karmic networking. Do you want to hack this law to accelerate your success? Become a massive generator of positive causes. Do not wait for them to ask you for help. Help proactively. Connect people. Give useful advice. Give away smiles. Be kind to the waiter. Pick up the trash someone else threw. You are sowing millions of microseeds of goodwill everywhere. You are creating a vibratory safety net. Perhaps the waiter will not return the favor directly, but you have launched positive energy into the field, and the field will return it to you, perhaps through an investor who knows your cousin, or through an unexpected opportunity. The return does not always come from the same person you gave to. That is bartering, not universal law. The return comes from the universe, using any available channel. You take care of the cause, giving. Let the universe take care of the effect, receiving, and the delivery logistics. Forgiveness, breaking the negative chain. If cause and effect is a wheel that turns eternally, how do we stop negative karma? An eye for an eye and the world will end up blind. If someone hits you, cause, and you hit them back, effect that becomes a new cause, you create an infinite chain of pain. Wars that last centuries. The only tool capable of breaking the wheel is forgiveness. Forgiveness is a snip to the thread of karma. When someone harms you, but you decide not to react with revenge, but with compassion or indifference, you stop the wheel. You absorb the blow and do not retransmit it. The negative karma dies in you. You become a karma sink. By doing this, you set yourself free. You stop being tied to that person's past. You step out of the line of fire, and the law of compensation rewards you enormously for being the peacemaker, the one who raised the vibration. Luck is preparation plus opportunity. Seneca said it 2,000 years ago. What we call good luck is simply the moment when your preparation, internal causes you have been cultivating in silence, meets an opportunity, external circumstances. If the opportunity arrives and you are not prepared, there is no luck. If you are prepared and do not move toward the opportunity, there is no luck. You create your luck. You create the causes. If you want to have luck in love, prepare yourself by being a loving, healthy, and attractive person. When the person appears, luck will happen. Stop buying lottery tickets and start building character. The law of overcompensation. Napoleon Hill spoke of the habit of walking the extra mile, doing more than what you are paid to do. This is the most aggressive application of this law. If you are paid 10 and you give 10, you are in balance. You are stagnant. If you are paid 10 and you give 15, you have generated a positive imbalance. You have put the universe in debt to you. You have generated a value vacuum. The universe hates debt. It will find a way to pay you those extra 5, with interest. You will be promoted, or clients will come from nowhere, or you will find money. Mediocre people do the minimum so they don't get fired. The magician does the maximum to leave the universe in debt to him. Be so good that the universe has no choice but to enrich you. Forensic analysis of your life. To end this chapter, I propose an exercise of brutal honesty. Look at your current life as if you were a detective at a crime scene. Your life today is the crime scene, the effect. Who is the culprit? What were the weapons? Situation: I am alone. Effect: cause tracking. Have I cultivated friendships? Have I left the house? Have I been kind? Or have I been critical, closed, and arrogant? Situation: I am broke. Effect: cause tracking. Have I spent more than I earned? Have I learned about finances? Have I provided value to the market, or have I been waiting for a miracle? Do not judge yourself, just observe the correlation. In the moment you see the connection between what you did, cause, and what you have, effect, you recover the power. If I broke it, I can fix it. If I built it poorly, I can demolish it and build it well. You are the architect. The power of small causes. The domino. Do not underestimate small causes. A great fire starts with a single spark. A small habit repeated daily is a massive cause in the long term. Reading 10 pages a day is a small cause. Effect in 10 years, encyclopedic wisdom and success. Eating 100 extra calories a day is a small cause. Effect in 10 years, morbid obesity. Watch your small actions. They are the termites that eat your house or the ants that build your castle. Mastery is in the details. The boomerang is coming back. Make sure it carries a gift. Chapter 8. The Law of Relativity. Imagine that you are holding a 1-kilogram stone in your hand. Is it heavy? If you compare it to a feather, yes, it is very heavy. If you compare it to a 10-ton truck, it is insignificant, light as air. Now, imagine that you earn $5,000 a month. Are you rich? If you live in a rural village in a developing country, you are a tycoon, a king. If you live in the most exclusive neighborhood in Manhattan, surrounded by billionaires, you are the poor neighbor. You feel like a failure. What has changed? The stone is the same. The money is the same. The only thing that has changed is what you are comparing it to. Welcome to the 8th universal law, the law of relativity. This law establishes that nothing is good or bad, big or small, difficult or easy, except by comparison. In the void, things simply are. An earthquake is not bad. It is a geological event. It becomes bad when we relate it to human life. A divorce is not a tragedy. It is a change of marital status. It becomes a tragedy when you compare it to your romantic ideal of forever. The universe is neutral. It is a blank canvas. You are the one who carries a red marker, the bad label, and a green marker, the good label, in your pocket. The law of relativity teaches you to throw away the markers and understand that everything is a matter of perspective. This law exists for a reason. It exists to test you and to give you comfort. If you learn to manipulate your frame of reference, you become emotionally invulnerable. You can make a giant look like a dwarf simply by changing the camera angle. The testing laboratory. Why do we have problems? Many people ask themselves, if I create my reality, why do I still have problems? Why does life send me challenges? The law of relativity responds, they are initiation tests. Life is a school, and in a school, you cannot pass a grade without passing the exam. Challenges are not punishments, karma. They are tests of endurance designed to strengthen your inner light. To know how strong you are, you need to lift something heavy. To know how patient you are, you need to face someone irritating. The problem in front of you is a weight. It is a weight in the cosmic gym. The law of relativity tells you, this problem seems huge now, but it is here so that by overcoming it, you become bigger than it. When you overcome an obstacle, your consciousness expands. What made you cry 10 years ago today makes you laugh. Why? Because you have grown. The problem remains the same, but you are bigger. Relatively, the problem has shrunk. Your goal in life is not to have no problems, that is being dead. Your goal is to be so big that problems seem like toys. The upward comparison trap, the thief of joy. This law has a double edge. You can use it to heal yourself or to destroy yourself. Modern society, driven by social media, trains us to use the law of relativity against ourselves. It is upward comparison. You look at your life, which is perfectly dignified and good, and compare it to the highlight reel of a celebrity or an Instagram influencer. You see their perfect bodies, their trips, their smiles, and your mind makes the relative comparison. They are up there. I am down here. Therefore, my life is garbage. You have just used a universal law to depress yourself. You have taken your reality, which is neutral, and labeled it as insufficient by putting it next to an unattainable fiction. Theodore Roosevelt said, "Comparison is the thief of joy." When you compare yourself to someone who has more money, more beauty, more followers, you generate envy and lack. You lower your vibration, and by the law of attraction, you attract more reasons to feel like less. Golden rule: never compare your behind the scenes to their movie trailer. The tool of downward comparison, the healer. But the magician knows how to use the law to his advantage. When you feel miserable, when you believe your problem is the end of the world, use downward comparison. Look down. Look at those who have less. Look at those who truly suffer. I'm sad because I can't buy the new car. Apply the law. Think of the man who has no legs and cannot walk. Suddenly your car problem becomes ridiculous. It dissolves. I am stressed because I have a lot of work. Apply the law. Think of the father who has been unemployed for 2 years and cannot feed his children. Suddenly, your stress becomes gratitude. Thank God I have a job. This is not sadism. It is not rejoicing in others' misfortune. It is the calibration of reality. It is using relativity to regain sanity. There is an old Persian proverb that says, "I cried because I had no shoes until I saw a man who had no feet." There is always someone who would pray to have your problems. Your problems are someone else's dreams. If you have food in the fridge, a roof, and you are not being bombed, you are luckier than 70% of historical humanity. Use this perspective every time your ego starts making a drama out of nonsense. Shrink the monster by comparing it to real monsters. The neutrality of events, the story of the Chinese farmer. There is a Taoist parable that explains this law better than any physics treatise. There was an old farmer who had a horse. One day, the horse escaped to the mountains. The neighbors came and said, "What bad luck! You lost your horse." The farmer replied, "Maybe." The next day, the horse returned, bringing 3 wild horses with it. The neighbors exclaimed, "What good luck! Now you have 4 horses." The farmer replied, "Maybe." The next day, the farmer's son tried to tame one of the wild horses, fell, and broke a leg. The neighbors said, "What a misfortune! Your son is crippled." The farmer replied, "Maybe." The following week, the army came to the village, recruiting all the young men for a terrible war where they would surely die. Seeing the farmer's son with the broken leg, they rejected him, and he was saved. The neighbors said, "What a blessing." The farmer replied, "A maybe." Do you see? No event is good or bad in itself. It is only a link in an infinite chain of causes and effects. What seems like a tragedy today, losing your job, may tomorrow be the cause of you finding your true calling. What seems like success today, winning the lottery, may tomorrow ruin your life and lead you to drugs. The law of relativity invites you to suspend judgment. Stop putting hasty labels. When something bad happens, say, "This is just an event. I don't know how the story will end." Maintain neutrality. That gives you an unshakable peace. You stop being an emotional roller coaster that goes up and down with every piece of news. You become the mountain, stable, watching the clouds pass by. The zoom effect, changing the time frame, is another way to apply relativity. We often suffer because we look at the problem with a magnifying lens here and now. The pimple on your nose on your wedding day seems like the end of the world. Apply the 5-year test. Ask yourself, Will this matter in 5 years? If the answer is no, and 99% of the time it is no, then it does not deserve for you to worry about it for more than 5 minutes. That failed exam, that traffic argument, that stain on your shirt. In the scale of your entire life, they are invisible pixels. Do not waste life energy on them. Relativize the present moment by projecting yourself into the future. From the perspective of your deathbed, will you regret having worked so much or not having loved more? Use that final perspective to make decisions today. That is wisdom, the ability to see the present with the eyes of the future. The emotional thermometer. You decide the temperature of your reaction. If someone insults you, you decide if that is an unpardonable offense, grade 100 of anger, or an irrelevant comment from an ignorant person, grade 0 of impact. The insult is the same. The sound is the same. The difference is your frame of reference. If your frame is, I am a fragile being and everyone must respect me for me to feel good, you will suffer. If your frame is, I am a lion and the opinion of sheep does not interest me, you will feel nothing. You control the thermostat. You decide what meaning you give to things. Tony Robbins says, nothing in life has meaning except the meaning you give it. If you lose money, you can give it the meaning of, I am a failure. Or, I just paid for an expensive master's degree in how not to do business. I am wiser. The event is neutral. The meaning determines your emotion and your next action. Choose meanings that empower you, not those that destroy you. Resilience and the comfort zone. Let's talk about comfort. Comfort is dangerous because it distorts your relativity. If you live in a cotton bubble, any small annoyance seems like torture. If you always have air conditioning at 22 degrees, sweating a bit seems like hell. If you are never hungry, waiting an hour to eat puts you in a bad mood. You become weak. Your window of tolerance shrinks. To use the law of relativity to your advantage, you must practice voluntary discomfort. Step out of your comfort zone deliberately. Take cold showers, fast. Do intense exercise until it hurts. Travel cheap. Why? Because by voluntarily exposing yourself to the difficult, you recalibrate your scale. After an icy shower, a rainy day seems warm. After a 24-hour fast, a simple plate of rice tastes like glory. You expand your range. You make the small annoyances of daily life stop affecting you because you have already conquered bigger dragons by your own will. You become tough. Abundance versus scarcity. Paradigm. The law of relativity explains why the rich get richer. For a millionaire, investing $10,000 is little relative to his millions. Since it seems little to him, he has no fear, no attachment. He invests relaxed, and he usually wins. For a poor person, $10,000 is a fortune. He has terror of losing them. He invests with fear, with anxiety, and he usually loses by the law of attraction. The amount is the same. Mental relativity determines the result. To change your financial reality, change your internal thermostat. If you think that 1,000 euros is a lot of money, it will cost you a lot to earn them. Start normalizing large figures in your mind. Read biographies of billionaires. Walk through luxury neighborhoods. Go into expensive stores to accustom your nervous system to that reality. Make wealth seem normal and attainable, not giant and impossible. Reduce the size of the money idol in your mind. Money is just paper. It is a tool. It is not a god. When you take away its importance, make it relatively small, it flows to you easier. The bird's eye view technique. When you are trapped in an emotional labyrinth, elevate yourself. Practical visualization. Close your eyes. See yourself sitting in your chair with your problem. Now, mentally go up to the roof of your house. You see your neighborhood. Your problem looks smaller. Go up more. You see your city. You see thousands of lights. Each light is a person with their own dramas, loves, and pains. Your problem is 1 in a million. Go up more. You see the earth from space, a blue marble floating in infinite darkness. Go up more. You see the Milky Way. Go up more. You see clusters of galaxies. From up here, where is your big problem? It is invisible. It is stardust. Feel the immensity of the cosmos. Feel the eternity of time. You are part of that greatness. Your existence is a brief miracle. Are you going to spend that miracle worrying about what someone said about you on Facebook? Are you going to spend it suffering for a piece of paper? This cosmic perspective dissolves the ego, and when the ego dissolves, fear disappears. Only the wonder of being remains. Return to your body with that feeling of lightness. The problem is still there, but it no longer weighs on you. Now you can solve it by playing. Divine justice. Sometimes we look at others and say, it's unfair, he has everything easy. The law of relativity reminds us you don't have the whole picture. You see their success, but you don't see their inner demons. You see their money, but not their loneliness or illness. You see their smile in the photo, but not their tears on the pillow. Every person is fighting a battle you know nothing about. Therefore, be kind, and do not envy. If you could exchange your entire life for the life of that person you envy, with all their hidden good and bad, you would probably run back to your own life. Your cross is custom-made for your shoulders. It is the perfect weight for you to develop the muscles your soul needs. Embrace your destiny. Stop looking to the sides. Run your own race. The power of the label. Remember, the event is the noun. Your opinion is the adjective. The universe gives you the noun. Firing. You provide the adjective. You can put tragic firing or liberating firing. The chemistry of your body will change depending on the adjective. If you choose tragic, you will generate cortisol. Your mind will cloud. If you choose liberating, you will generate dopamine. Your mind will sharpen, and you will seek opportunities. The fact is the same. The master turns poison into medicine. Chapter 9, The Law of Polarity and Gender. We live in a divided world. You look around and see day and night, heat and cold, man and woman, positive and negative, life and death. The human mind, in its basic state, labels these opposites as enemies. We believe that cold is the enemy of heat, that darkness is the enemy of light. We believe that evil is the enemy of good. We spend our lives fighting to eliminate one of the poles, wanting to live in an eternal summer, in perpetual joy, in light without shadow. And we fail. We fail because we are fighting against the very structure of reality. Welcome to the 9th universal law, the law of polarity and gender. This law reveals the secret of duality. It teaches us that opposites are not enemies. They are identical in nature, but different in degree. It teaches us that creation is not a solitary act. Creation is an act of love between two primordial forces, masculine and feminine, that exist in everything, from atoms to galaxies. If you understand this law, you stop being a warrior fighting against life and become an alchemist who dances with it. You stop trying to kill your fears. You learn to transmute your fears into power because you understand that fear and power are the same energy at different ends of the dial. Part 1. The Law of Polarity, the Art of Sliding. The Kybalion says, everything is dual, everything has poles, everything has its pair of opposites. Like and unlike are the same. Opposites are identical in nature but different in degree. Extremes meet. Let's analyze this with the classic example. The thermometer. You look at a thermometer. At the bottom it says cold. At the top it says heat. But where does cold end and heat begin? Is there an objective physical line? No, it is a continuous scale. Cold and heat are not two different things. They are the same thing. Thermal energy or temperature. Cold is simply a low frequency of temperature. Heat is a high frequency of the same temperature. If you are cold, you don't need to destroy the cold and go looking for heat elsewhere. You only need to raise the vibration of the thermostat. You slide the dial. The same happens with light and darkness. Darkness is not a thing you can shovel out of a room. Darkness is simply light at 0 degree. The same occurs with north and south. They are directions on the same compass. The psychological revelation. This becomes explosive when you apply it to your emotions. Love and hate. We are told they are irreconcilable opposites. The law says they are the same. Both are intense passion focused on an object. That's why it's so easy to pass from love to hate in a second during a relationship argument. You just turn the dial. The intensity is already there. The opposite of love is not hate. It is indifference, the absence of energy. Fear and courage. They are the same. Both are a physical and mental anticipation of a future event. Both trigger adrenaline. Both sharpen the senses. Fear is that energy telling you, prepare to die. Courage is that same energy telling you, prepare to win. Poverty and wealth, they are the same. They are degrees of abundance. Poverty is an abundance of lack. Wealth is an abundance of resources. It is the same monetary energy. Mental alchemy, sliding the dial. Why is this useful? Because it means you never have to create a positive emotion from scratch. If you are paralyzed by fear, you already have the energy necessary for courage. It is there, vibrating in your body, sweaty hands, fast heart. The ignorant person tries to calm down, to eliminate the energy. That is difficult. The magician uses polarization. He takes that energy of fear and mentally slides the dial to the other extreme. He turns, I am trembling because I am afraid, into I am ready for battle. He relabels the physical sensation. It is much easier to transmute hate into love, because passion is already there, than to transmute indifference into love, because you have to start the car from zero. If someone hates you, be glad. They are giving you energy. They have an interest in you. You only have to change the polarity of that connection so they love you. The true danger is when someone doesn't care about you at all. Practical exercise. When you feel sad, the negative pole, do not try to jump to euphoria, the extreme positive pole, at once. The distance is too great. Slide from sadness to boredom to acceptance to interest to hope to joy. Climb the ladder degree by degree. Understand that sadness is not a solid state. It is a point on the dial, and you have your hand on the dial. The necessity of contrast. The law of polarity answers the great theological question, why does evil exist? Why does God allow pain? Because without polarity, there is no experience. If everything were constant white light, you would be blind. You need shadows to see forms. You need shadows to see contours and depth. If you had never felt cold, you could not enjoy the pleasure of a warm blanket. If you had never been sick, you would not value the sweetness of health. Evil, the negative pole, provides the necessary contrast. Contrast allows good, the positive pole, to be defined and experienced. The hero needs the villain to become a hero. Without the dragon, St. George is just a guy with a stick. Therefore, stop cursing your problems. Your problems are the negative pole charging your battery. A battery needs a plus pole and a bipole to generate electricity. If you remove the negative pole, the battery dies. Your life needs challenges to generate growth. Accept the darkness as the gym of the light. Part 2. The law of gender, the mechanics of creation. Now let's go deeper. Within polarity there is a specific and sacred division, gender. The Kybalion says, gender is in everything. Everything has its masculine and feminine principles. Gender manifests on all planes. Forget biology, genitals, and modern social politics for a moment. We are talking about archetypal energy. In physics, it is the positive charge, proton, and the negative charge, electron. In mysticism, it is yin and yang, Shiva and Shakti, sun and moon. The masculine principle is projective, electric, active, giver, logical, focused, penetrating, will. It is the seed. The feminine principle is receptive, magnetic, passive in the sense of receiving, gestating, intuitive, expansive, creative emotion. It is the fertile ground. The golden rule of creation: nothing, absolutely nothing, is created without the union of these two principles. To create a baby, you need sperm and egg. To create a plant, you need seed and earth. To create electricity, you need positive and negative poles. And here comes the crucial part. To create your reality, money, health, success, you need the union of your masculine and feminine mind. The internal sacred marriage. You, regardless of whether you are biologically male or female, have both energies within you. Your conscious mind, intellect, will, acts as the masculine. Your subconscious mind, emotion, imagination, acts as the feminine. How does a desire manifest? The conscious masculine selects the desire. It is the seed. It says, I want this car. It is a logical decision, an impulse of will. Then, it must penetrate the subconscious, feminine, with that idea. The subconscious receives the idea. It wraps the idea in emotion. It nourishes it. It gestates it in the darkness. And finally, it gives birth to the manifestation in the physical world. The problem of sterility. Most people are spiritually sterile because their internal energies are divorced or unbalanced. 1. Excess masculinity, the tyrant. These are people of pure logic, pure action, pure will. I work hard, I feel nothing. They plant millions of seeds, ideas, but they have no fertile ground, emotion, intuition. The seeds fall on asphalt, they burn out. They are rich but miserable. They try to force the universe. 2. Excess femininity, the dreamer. These are people of pure emotion, pure intuition, pure flow. I feel so much, I visualize all day. They have a wonderful fertile ground, but they have no seed, focus, action. They live in fantasy. They expect the universe to provide without doing anything. They are emotional chaos without structure. They have magnetism but no direction. The master seeks the hieros gamos, the sacred marriage. He balances his will with his imagination. He uses his conscious mind to direct and protect, like a good father. He uses his subconscious to feel and create, like a good mother. When your thought, M, says, I am going to achieve it, and your emotion, F, feels, it is already ours, the child, the result, is inevitable. Metaphysical sexuality. This law explains why sexual energy is so powerful. The sexual act is the physical representation of the law of gender. It is the moment of maximum polarity and union. When two people unite sexually, a vortex of massive energy is created. If you learn to polarize that energy, you can use sex not just for pleasure but for magic. Napoleon Hill spoke of sexual transmutation. Taoists speak of the microcosmic orbit. The idea is simple. During the union of the poles, a portal to the infinite opens. In that moment of ecstasy, orgasm, the conscious mind, the logical guardian turns off for a second. If in that precise second of little death, you insert an intention or visualization into the subconscious, it enters without filter. It is a psychic insemination. Application in leadership and business. The law of gender applies to your company. Your company needs masculine energy, structure, KPIs, objectives, aggressive sales, logic, systems. Your company needs feminine energy, culture, creativity, customer care, market intuition, beauty. A purely masculine company is a slave factory that will end up hated. A purely feminine company is a social club that will go bankrupt due to lack of sales. The successful leader knows when to draw the sword, M to cut costs, and when to bring the cup, F to nourish talent. The social gender pendulum. Society also oscillates. We have lived through centuries of excessive patriarchy, the dominance of distorted masculine, war, cold logic, suppression of emotion. Now we are seeing a resurgence of the matriarchy or the feminine. The pendulum sometimes goes to the opposite extreme, and we see chaos or excessive fragility. The law of gender seeks integration, not the domination of one over the other. The future is not feminine. The future is not masculine. The future is integrated. How to balance your poles. Technique. How do you apply this today? Check your energies. If you feel stuck, confused, lazy, or hypersensitive, excess feminine, lack of masculine, you need to inject solar, masculine energy. Action. Make a to-do list and stick to it rigidly. Body. Lift weights, do martial arts. Mind. Study logic, mathematics, or strategy. Make quick decisions. Word. Be direct. Say no. Set limits. Cut the chaos with the sword of order. If you feel exhausted, rigid, angry, or disconnected, excess masculine, lack of feminine, you need to inject lunar feminine energy. Action, rest, meditate, do nothing for an hour. Body, dance, do yoga, get a massage, walk in nature. Mind, listen to music, paint, read poetry, visualize. Word, listen more. Say thank you, be vulnerable. The resistance of opposite poles. Sometimes when you try to change poles from poor to rich, from sad to joyful, you feel brutal resistance. It is like trying to join two magnets by the same pole. They repel. This happens because your old identity is polarized. The law of polarity tells you, persist. Extremes meet. The darkest moment of the night is just before dawn. When you feel the resistance is at its maximum, it is because you are about to cross the threshold. Do not give up at the turning point. You are transmuting lead into gold. The lead heats up, bubbles, smells bad, and seems unstable before becoming pure gold. Endure the heat. Balance the poles. Master the creation. Chapter 10. The Law of Rhythm. Breathe. Inhale deeply. Hold. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Look at the sea. The waves come in. The waves go out. Look at the sky. The sun rises. The sun sets. Look at history. Empires are born. They conquer the world, and then they fall into oblivion, so other empires may rise from their ashes. Look at your own life. You have days when you feel like the king of the world, full of energy and success, and you have days, for no apparent reason, when you feel small, tired, and sad. Welcome to the 10th and final universal law, the law of rhythm. This law decrees that everything flows and reflows, everything has its tides, all things rise and fall. Everything manifests in compensated oscillations. The measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left. Rhythm compensates. We live in a pendular universe. Nothing, absolutely nothing in creation, maintains a fixed state forever. The straight line is a human invention. The curved line, the wave, is God's signature. Understanding this law is vital for your mental health because it frees you from the illusion of permanent happiness. It delivers to you the tool of permanent peace. Happiness is a wave's peak, an emotion. Peace is the depth of the ocean, a state. The ignorant person suffers when the pendulum swings toward pain. The master knows that the pendulum will return and waits with the patience of a rock. The mechanics of the pendulum, the inevitability. Imagine an antique wall clock with a giant pendulum. You see it move to the right, the positive pole, success, joy, expansion. It reaches the maximum point. It stops for a millisecond, and then, inevitably, it begins its journey to the left. It swings toward the negative pole, failure, sadness, contraction. The force with which it went up is the same force with which it will come down. This is the law of rhythmic compensation. If you live in unmeasured euphoria, an artificial high, an intense romantic obsession, the law dictates that you will suffer a proportional depression when the pendulum returns. It is the universal hangover. Modern society, immature and addicted to dopamine, tries to hack this. We want infinite growth. We want an economy always on the rise. We want to be happy 24/7. That is going against the law. And when you go against the law of rhythm, you break. Economic crises occur because we try to force an artificial expansion beyond the natural rhythm. The collapse is the violent correction of the pendulum seeking its center. Burnout occurs because you try to work without resting, violating your body's rhythm. Illness is the pendulum forcing you to stop. You cannot stop the pendulum, but you can learn not to be hit by it. You must learn to flow with the swing. The seasons of life. Nature is our best teacher. She is never in a hurry and never skips a beat. Your life goes through seasons. You cannot live in an eternal summer. Harvest, success, light. After summer comes autumn, letting go, change. Then comes winter. In winter, there is cold, darkness, apparent death and rest. And then without fail, spring arrives, rebirth, new beginnings. Human suffering is born from resisting winter. When a low stage arrives, you lose your job, you feel stuck. The ego screams, "Something is wrong. I have to fix this. I have to get back to summer now." Spending energy fighting winter is useless. You cannot make the sun rise at midnight. The law of rhythm tells you, surrender to the season. If you are in winter, do not try to harvest. It is not the time to act outward. It is the time to go inward. It is time to reflect, to rest, to plan, to sharpen the axe. The roots of trees grow in winter, under the frozen ground, in the darkness. Your deepest spiritual growth occurs in your darkest moments. not in your times of celebration. Embrace the winter. Use it. If you rest well in winter, you will sprout with explosive force in spring. If you exhaust yourself fighting against winter, you will reach spring too tired to bloom. Respect the cycle. Trust the process of the earth. The Hermetic secret, the law of neutralization. Here is the crown jewel of this chapter. The Kybalion gives us a technique to escape the devastating effects of the pendulum. It is called the law of neutralization. Imagine the pendulum swinging. If you are at the bottom of the pendulum on the weight, the movement is violent. It drags you from one side to the other. You are a victim of your emotions. But if you mentally climb up the pendulum's cord toward the top, the closer you are to the anchor point, the less movement there is. At the exact point of the pivot, there is no movement. There is only rotation, but no displacement. The technique consists of raising your consciousness. Masters do not annul the law of rhythm. You cannot destroy a law, but they escape its effects by refusing to participate emotionally. They refuse to participate in the negative oscillation. How is it done? When you feel the pendulum starting to swing to the left, towards sadness, fear, or lack, you dissociate yourself. Instead of saying, "I am sad," identification, you say, "There is sadness in the environment," observation. You rise to the higher plane, the mental, spiritual plane, and let the oscillation occur only on the lower plane, emotional, physical. It is like being in a plane flying above the storm. Below, it rains and thunders. Your body may feel tired, your bank account may drop. But you, your consciousness, are in the sun, watching the storm without getting wet. You maintain a positive polarity mentally, even if the external situation is negative. You stay firm in your vision. I know this is winter. I know the pendulum is returning. I am not afraid. I do not react. I simply wait in my center. By not reacting emotionally to the drop, you neutralize its impact. The pendulum passes underneath you without dragging you along. You remain the master of your internal state. Management of euphoria. The danger of success. The law of rhythm also warns us about success. When the pendulum is at the highest point on the right, massive success, falling in love, money flowing, the fool becomes arrogant. I am invincible. This will last forever. He spends everything he earns. He treats people poorly. He stops preparing. The master knows that this too shall pass. He knows that the ascent prepares the descent. Therefore, in times of abundance, the master does not let himself be carried away by unmeasured euphoria. Euphoria is a loss of balance. He enjoys it, yes, but he maintains sobriety. He saves, he invests, he stays humble. He prepares the shelter for winter. By moderating his euphoria, not going so high emotionally, he also moderates the future fall. He softens the curve. Instead of a roller coaster of violent peaks and valleys, a dramatic life, his life becomes a smooth and elegant wave, a life of peace. Consistency is found in the middle ground, the breath of the universe. Understand that the universe breathes. The expansion of the Big Bang, exhalation, will be followed, according to physicists, by a contraction or big crunch, inhalation. Your businesses breathe. Your relationships breathe. Sometimes your partner needs to pull away. Inhale, withdraw, so they can later approach with more love. Exhale, surrender. If you panic when your partner pulls away a little, they don't love me anymore. And you try to force closeness, you break the rhythm. You suffocate the relationship. You must allow distance so there can be a new approach. You must allow silence so there can be music. You must allow your bank account to drop, investment, expense, so it can rise, return, income. The fear of the drop is what blocks the rise. Trust the rhythm. Rhythm in business and money. The best investors in the world, like Warren Buffett, are masters of the law of rhythm. When the market drops and everyone panics, winter, they do not sell, they buy. They know the rhythm is unbreakable and the rise is inevitable. When the market rises and everyone is euphoric buying junk, summer, they sell and collect profits. They go against the current of collective emotion, but in favor of the universal rhythm. If you have a business, do not be afraid if you have a bad month after 3 good ones. It is natural. It is the exhalation. Use that bad month to reorganize, clean, and improve systems. Do not close the business because of one winter. Consistency is not that everything always goes well. Consistency is that you stay there, firm, when things go poorly. Strategic patience. The supreme virtue of this law is patience, but not a passive patience of let's see what happens. Instead, an active and strategic patience. It is the surfer's patience. The surfer does not create the waves. He cannot scream at the sea to send a wave. The surfer waits in the water, watching the horizon. He floats. He saves energy. When he detects that the rhythm of the ocean is bringing a wave, opportunity, then he paddles with all his strength, inspired action. He mounts the wave and uses the sea's impulse to fly. When the wave ends, he doesn't cry. He goes back in and waits for the next one. Life is surfing. You cannot always be on the crest of the wave. There are moments for paddling and moments for sliding. If you try to surf when the sea is flat, you get tired and look ridiculous. Learn to read the tides of your own life. Is it time to push or is it time to wait? Listen to your intuition. If you feel that everything is blocked, that nothing flows, that all doors are closing, stop. It is low tide. Do not swim against the sand. Wait. Sharpen your tools. The tide will rise. It always rises. And when it rises, you will be ready. The end of anxiety. Anxiety is the ego's attempt to control time. We want the future to arrive now, or we want the past not to leave. The law of rhythm cures your anxiety because it gives you certainty. The certainty that no evil lasts 100 years. If you are suffering now, I have good news, it will pass. The pendulum is already slowing its ascent toward pain and will begin to descend. If you are succeeding now, I have a warning. It will pass. Do not be attached to your crown. Prepare to reinvent yourself. This impermanence is not sad, it is liberating. It means you are not trapped. It means that life is a dynamic dance, fresh and new at every instant. Dance. Do not cling to the dance floor. Move with the music. Final conclusion. The awakening of the architect. You have reached the end of the map. The voices fall silent. The music fades away. Now only silence remains. But this silence you hear now is not the same silence that existed before you began this journey. That was the silence of ignorance, of sterile void. It was the darkness of one who fumbles in an unknown room, tripping over furniture they cannot see. The silence now is different. It is a charged silence. It is an electric silence. It is the silence of potency. It is the stillness of the lion before the pounce. It is the calm of the sea before the giant wave. It is the silence of an architect contemplating an empty plot of land, not with fear, but with the absolute certainty of the cathedral they are about to build. During the last few hours, we have dismantled reality piece by piece. We have lifted the veil of illusion. Your whole life they have told you the world is a chaotic, unfair, and random place. They have told you that you are a leaf in the wind, dependent on luck, the government, the economy, or fate. That lie has died today. We have exposed the gears of the cosmic clock. Now you know there is no chaos, there is mathematical order. Now you know there is no luck, there is cause and effect. Now you know you are not a victim, you are an emitter of frequencies. But I must warn you about something before you take off your headphones and return to the noise of the outside world. The knowledge you have acquired comes with a price. All power carries a price, and the price of the wisdom of the 10 laws is the loss of innocence. You can no longer afford the luxury of being a victim. Yesterday you could blame your boss for your poverty. You could blame your partner for your sadness. You could blame God for your illness. You had the comfortable excuse of ignorance. You could say, I didn't know I was creating it. Today that excuse has evaporated. If from tomorrow on you continue to live in scarcity, you will know it is because you are violating the law of compensation. If you continue to live in drama, you will know. You will know it is because you are polarized at the negative extreme and you refuse to transmute it. If you remain stuck, you will know it is because you lack inspired action. You can no longer look away. The mirror of the law of correspondence will follow you wherever you go. It will relentlessly show you who you really are. This may seem like a heavy burden at first. Radical responsibility scares the ego because the ego loves to hide. But I promise you that if you accept this weight, it will become the wings that allow you to fly. Because if you are the cause of all your suffering, it means you are the only cause necessary for your total liberation. No one has to come to save you. You are the Messiah of your own life. Imagine for a moment what will happen when you begin to live these laws. Imagine living them 24 hours a day. I'm not talking about knowing them intellectually. I'm talking about embodying them. I'm talking about walking down the street, knowing you are a field of vibrant energy connected to every atom in the universe. Oneness. I am talking about entering a negotiation, knowing that if you raise your vibration, the other person will have no choice but to match you or leave. Vibration and resonance. I am talking about facing a financial crisis, not with panic, but with the curiosity of an alchemist. You will know that the lead of debt is only energy waiting to be transmuted into the gold of opportunity, transmutation and rhythm. You will see the world with X-ray vision. Where others see coincidences, you will see the invisible web of synchronicities. Where others see injustices, you will see the perfect balance of the pendulum swinging to correct an excess. Where others see enemies, you will see teachers and mirrors coming to show you what you still need to heal within yourself. You will become invulnerable to the opinions of others, for you will understand the law of relativity. You will know that another's criticism is only a confession of their own limitations, not a truth about you. You will become magnetic. You will not use manipulation tricks. You will be magnetic because your coherence between mind and heart, law of attraction, will be so strong that opportunities will seek you like iron filings seeking a magnet. But beware. Do not fall into the trap of spiritual obesity. Many people will consume this audiobook like someone consuming a drug. They will feel a rush of power while listening. They will feel like magicians for a while, and then they will return to their old routine without changing anything. That is intellectual gluttony. That is knowing the path but not walking it. The universal laws do not work by knowing them. They work by application. Gravity does not help you fly just because you know the formula. It helps you fly only if you build the plane and apply aerodynamics. You have to build your plane. Your life is your laboratory. Tomorrow morning when you wake up, do not get up like the zombie you were before. Get up as the architect. Before your feet touch the ground, set the tone. Calibrate your dial, vibration. Visualize your day not as a hope, but as a memory of the future. Attraction. When you brush your teeth, look at your face in the mirror and recognize the divinity looking back at you. Oneness. When you go out to work and face traffic, do not react. Observe. Transmute anger into patience. Use the time to learn. Polarity. Conduct small experiments. Challenge the universe. Say, today I am going to give my best. I am going to serve with excellence, cause, and I expect my compensation, effect. And watch what happens. You will see that the universe, which seemed deaf and mute, begins to speak to you. It begins to send you signals. It begins to open doors that were rusted shut. It begins to move the right people toward you. A sacred dialogue is established between the creation and the creator. You stop being a lonely monologue in the dark and become a dance with the infinite. Do not be afraid to make mistakes. The universe is self-correcting. If you stray from the path, the law of rhythm and cause and effect will give you a small nudge to warn you. Be grateful for it. It is the guardrail of the road. Correct your course and keep going. Do not seek perfection. Seek alignment. When you are aligned with these 10 laws, life stops being a struggle. It becomes a flow. It becomes what the ancients called Wu Wei. Action without effort, sailing with the wind at your back. You have received the source code. You have received the keys to the kingdom. Now, the final question, the only one that matters, is, what are you going to build? The canvas is blank. The paint is infinite. The time is now. You did not come into this world to pay bills and die. You did not come to survive. You came to remember who you are and to expand the universe with your unique creation. You came to prove that spirit can dominate matter. So go out there, step out of the cave of doubt, break the chains of victimhood, and take your rightful place on the throne of your own existence. The universe has been waiting for this moment for eons. It has been waiting for you to wake up. And now that you are awake, the stars themselves align to see what you will do next. The audiobook ends here. But your true life begins in the next beat of your heart.